so many people to be using it at once. I don't think it's probably causing some pretty intense lag. I hope that doesn't, tamper with the enjoyability of this stream and the game for everyone. I'm composing a Twitch or a Twitter post, and I will be posting up on the other places post haste. Okay, I'm gonna copy this and
do that.
Yeah, and you can also give a link to your own podcast so that our viewers, if they're interested, can go check that out too. We're all about sharing the wealth and building community. All right. Let me go ahead and put that in. Boop.
Reporter, there's that. Just not good for my stability. Really not.
Edit. Yeah, sorry. Usually when I do these things, there's like a minute or two of shill posting before we actually get started. I'm pretty bad at managing that. I'm hoping to get better at that in the future. Okay.
So we're live.
Yes, we are live. Live. And let me get some music going. But maybe not the normal music. I have something amusingly special in mind for this session in terms of musical entertainment.
Well, just at the show thing, now it's saying.
All right, there we go. Start us off with a little funk. Everybody hear the music? All right, so I see two of our players on the...
Yep.
Ooh.
It's very different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right? I'm assuming that's you, Tosana? Let me just kind of get all the players lined up a little bit. Oh, did it not... It's not going to continuously play unless I press that it should. But let me... I've got two of these tracks, so let me try this one out for a spin.
I'm hiding up the top.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Ah, did it stop playing? It's not playing now. Oh, there it is. Fantastic. Why is it? It's being glitchy. Interesting. Hopefully this does the trick. And if I turn it on repeat...
Let's see on that.
Having a very glitchy night tonight. I'm sorry about that, guys. Yeah, let's try that one. Excellent. Hopefully that one sticks around this time. So,
Yeah,
here.
Please try again.
Did you get an error message?
Yeah, the Twitch is showing there's a network error.
Oh no, that's not good.
Now it may.
Oh, I'm dropping frames. Oh no. Lee, we might have a problem with the two of us being in the same room. Is there any chance I could ask you to go back inside? Yeah, kind of. I mean, I've got a house guest over, and it's probably causing a little bit of a nightmare for the Twitch. Very sorry. It's going to be fixed in just a moment. What'd you say, Lee? Okay. So I think it should be. Hopefully, is it any better? Anybody?
I can now see the Twitch streams.
Okay, wonderful. That did the trick. Thank you very much. Okay, so. All right, 70s sitcom it is. You are all members of the crew of a mobile. By the way, this was inspired by some fun people over at the Facebook page that I'm a member of, who purchased my Megacorps Marines and Monsters tile set because they wanted to do some fun mobile train thing with it. And lo and behold, I made enough pieces that people could actually make mobile trains with the tile set, which I'm demonstrating now. Because you are all on a scientific mission dispatched by LaSalle Bionational to traverse the this newly discovered, or well, decided that they would colonize it. Newly decided upon colonizing. I'm not sure exactly how to articulate that world, which has been dubbed Parvati, and you are currently in a plainsland / prairie / savannah part of the planet, and you're tasked with going out and gathering native biome flora and fauna in order to catalog it and ascertain whether or not these creatures are dangerous or potentially beneficial. You are, of course, scientists and facilitators of scientific duties, working for one of the many oppressive megacorps of this system or setting, and you are seriously underfunded. A point that, when asked, your supervisor, Mr. Malcolm, would merely say, "You're actually over budget."
So the people deciding our budget are just straight up Republicans, right? They're like, you're out to learn things. You don't need money.
Yes.
Like,
So let us start the night off by introducing our wonderful cast of characters, starting left to right. How about that? The way I see it, at least. We will start with. Let me close that and this and this. Sorry. Yes. Let us start with our friend Orlin Hyde. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Orlin.
So Orlin's a pretty high-stress guy. Usually always has a cigarette in his mouth. As soon as one goes out, he lights another one. Might even light the cigarette off of the one that he just put out. Quite nervous, has nervous twitches, and just needs to get stuff done.
Oh man.
Doesn't like to sit around very much. Just one of those kind of guys.
Mm-hmm. Befitting, I suppose, a field researcher on a dangerous alien world.
We'll see what kind of trouble it gets him into.
Who knows? He might already have gotten into some. So, next up, we have our friend Bent Scove. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yep. Bent is basically a character from a 1980s action movie.
Oh, man.
And like, if he screams, I feel the need for speed, it would be kind of par for the course for him. He basically doesn't drink anything that is, like below 80 proof. And wears the pilot shades basically just to cover up any bags or hangover that may have been around.
Oh yeah, I can relate.
Also, he's in charge of driving everything and flying his places, so
excellent.
That's a great combination.
Yes, each car, and there are quite a few in this love train, as it is affectionately dubbed by the staff here. It is not an official name, of course. It's dubbed this because it has seen a lot of love. It is not a new vessel. Each car has its own engine and provides just a little bit of the oomph needed to get it where it's going. However, the primary engine in which you are currently residing, where bureaucratic oversight and such is typically dealt with, is in fact the main engine. However, each car is detachable and independently operatable. Worth noting. Next up, we have our lovely, lovely Dr. Sherman Potter. Let's see.
So Doc Sherman Potter is getting close to retirement. He's seen and been and done pretty much everything. Nothing terribly impresses him or surprises him. He's cantankerous, he's cranky, he's always smoking, and but deep down inside he has an obvious affection for the people that he works for. Like he actually cares about their health and their well-being. Generally speaking, though, he's always got a joke or a quip or an off-color comment.
Excellent. What a character. I'm sure this will be a blast. And last, however, certainly not least, we have our party's roughneck. Would you mind pronouncing that for me?
So his name is Vikram Estebona, or he likes to go by Vic.
Nice.
Formerly, he was the #1 grav sled race mechanic in the Core Worlds. But Vic lost his job and his reputation when the third-ranked racer in the circuit died in a horrific crash. The investigation blamed mechanical error, quote-unquote, even though Vic is convinced the corporate saboteur was the real reason. So now, working car F for LaSalle Binational was the only work he could find, and he just wants a steady paycheck.
Yes. Excellent. Excellent. Such a rich backstory. Everybody really went all out on their characters tonight. I'm very impressed. Yeah, no, he's certainly got a steady paycheck. It might not be a big one, working this gig, but it is steady. Steady like a train. Indeed. So we see you fine folks in the head of the train at the moment. You have all kind of been summoned by your corporate master, Mr. Malcolm, who is very adept at saying no when the budget is brought up. Mr. Malcolm is interested to hear about your recent findings, and you have had one interesting finding. You've more or less surveyed the planet's surface, and you've taken pictures of basically any life form that you would automatically expect to see, and you've already done a lot of the really, really rudimentary research onto the biome of this planet, which is why your new discovery is somewhat interesting. You found a novel species just the other day. In fact, it was our good friend Orlin Hyde who encountered this creature crawling out of one of the many craters in this region. The atmosphere of Parvati was once a lot less dense than it is currently. So these creatures appear to be burrowing. However, the specimen that you found, and lovingly designated Scuzzy, does not have large burrowing claws that you would associate as being capable of performing such a feat. So you're not exactly sure how it has these burrows, but it is a very interesting new discovery. You've never seen this before on this planet. It does seem like it's from this planet, however. And for reference, we will see this later, of course, because the specimen's on the train. This is what Scuzzy looks like. Kind of like a fuzzy little rubber duck crossed with a mosquito crab. Very interesting creature.
Temperamental little bastards.
Mm-hmm.
He's adorable.
Does he float?
Does he
You got a
float?
different definition of adorable than I've got. Looks like a furry little rubber ducky with crab legs. A long beak.
Then how's that not adorable?
In no dictionary would you find any definition that includes adorable in a picture of that.
Well, how do you think you look to him?
I have no idea. That's a really
Well-
weird question.
Maybe you should think about that.
Yes, your good Sir or Mr. Malcolm would step forth and say, "Ah, yes, you are of course talking about the new specimen. Please, tell me everything. In particular, do you think that they're of any use to the company? Because we really need something useful to the company to get those next budgetary quotas, or to meet those budgetary quotas. You know, not to put a fire under your feet for no reason, but those replacement parts that you requested for the engine, I can't see them being approved unless we actually come up with something that's gonna get us some money."
Well, you could always sell that ascot.
Excuse you, this is my personal property. I paid my own wages to purchase it.
No accounting for taste.
It's a lovely ascot. It's Armani.
Oh, you're as big as a
Alien
pimple
Armani.
on a flea.
Rude. However, I will overlook it. Anything of note regarding Scuzzy? I know you just got him yesterday, but cute name, by the way. Which one of you came up with it? I love it.
That'd be Doc. He came up with it. I don't really know why. Thought it's something like a SCSI connector on an old computer. I don't know what that is.
Can't say I know myself. Anyway, yeah. Do you guys know anything about it? And for reference, you probably don't. You haven't had time to research it.
Don't know much about it. We know that it burrows a little bit. I had to kind of dig this little fucker up out of a rock. And it's got this little beak thing. Tried to get me. Of course, it didn't get me.
It's
But
called
it
the
kept trying to stick me
proboscis.
with it.
Oh man.
Say it with me. Proboscis.
Yeah.
He's
Proboscis.
bent like off to the side, just kind of like rubbing the bridge of his nose and drinking just like a little bit of water.
Amazing. Yes, Bence, you were actually probably the person who was driving the Daihoda tractor in order to get the damn thing in the first place.
Yeah, just like
Ooh, hungover a little bit. So yeah, seeing as you guys haven't necessarily been forthcoming with any information aside from the fact that it's got a proboscis and it was trying to get you. He says, "Oh, good. All right. Give it another couple days research. Throw the usual tests at it. Whatever you science types do. Remember, though, we are definitely not going to be getting any more acetone for the next 2 weeks. So please take that into mind when you're using the property. And also, 2 gloves per person per day. Not gonna be handing those out willy-nilly anymore. Not after last time.
Yep. Gotcha. No glove, no love.
We here at LaSalle Bionational must confess that we certainly love all of our employees, a whole bunch, but the money's just not there for all those gloves. And the face masks, don't even think about those. We haven't had those in months. Anyway.
Well, we have a saying in the mechanics circle here: no glove, no hand.
I can't say I've
Is that
heard
some
that
kind
one
of a joke?
before.
So things are running just about as smoothly as a horse on stilts, as usual.
A very sluggish horse, let me tell you.
Well, if you could get a horse on stilts, you might actually make a little bit more money than we have been so far. So, chop chop. Okay? Great talk. I'll be seeing that report in a few days, right?
Is that some
seems
kind of a
to be
joke?
measuring if he actually has enough alcohol to listen to this guy for much longer.
He sits back down in his cushy desk, or cushy chair, which is decidedly nicer than anything you have. And returns to his computer, which is, a little bit customized. He likes the color blue instead of green. Just pretend it's blue. And, so you guys have been, quote-unquote, dismissed. Your scientist friend, who is also working in that car, did not have much to add, and she will be returning with you. Her name is, Megan Tanner, and she is a good doctor of science, biological sciences to be specific. And with that,
Is there a medical station or something in here that I would go back to or report to?
Yes, there is. However, for reasons that you're not going to necessarily be forthright with, you would like to continue keeping an eye on the Scuzzy situation. I think, unless you
Well, so it's not in this car.
It is in this car that I'm about to drop you in, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm concerned about my twin that is in the main engine car.
Yes. He's not wearing the glasses, though, like your character is, so it's totally different person.
They've got they've got a circle around them. It's completely different.
Indeed.
Look at the two people and be like, it's like Clark Kent and Superman. I can't tell which one's which.
Yes. Your name, of course, is Mr. Bent. However, that guy's name is Mr. Brocan. Totally different person.
I never trust anybody who looks like me.
So I'm trying to give you guys sight in this new room. Are you seeing anything though? Because sometimes
Top right-hand corner is visible, but that's about it.
Just because he's in a band playpen.
Mm-hmm. It's because he's got his own little playpen. Wonder how
Oh,
y'all
there it
afforded that thing.
That little booger is aggressive.
Mm-hmm. There you are. Well, you did try and grab him out of his home. I can kind of understand that. So let's see what you guys. Does everybody have sight here? Is anybody seeing
Yep.
just
Yeah.
pure blackness?
I see it now.
All right, let me.
I just had to move my map around a little.
Yeah, so I can control LU, and you will. Ah, yes, the light layers are working, so you guys can see the interior of your car.
Yep.
Excellent. Perfect. So, you would know that over here. Let me actually go into the light layer and fix this up. You can see the control room over here. This is probably where our good friend Bence would hang out a lot. This one's the driver's seat. This is kind of controls and comms and such. Right? You don't necessarily need to be in there, though, because you're not driving the thing right now. You can be wherever you'd like. So,
I'll hang out and look at the alien. What's it? It's fine.
yeah, you can definitely. Everybody. I think you all have control over your characters, right? You can move them around.
Yep.
Okay,
Sure
fantastic. You can. Yeah, I don't know if you can move. Can you actually move our good doctor here, or
Megan is. I cannot interact with
okay?
her.
Yeah, I'll let you guys move her. She's kind of a prop, frankly, but you guys can all control her.
Okay.
In 1 second, basic controlled by all players. There we are. Save changes. There you go. So your good friend Scuzzy is in the little playpen that we have acquired for Scuzzy. He's not too happy about this current predicament. He seems to be sticking his proboscis out of the bars as far as he can go. However, of course, it does not actually get that far out. It's a lot smaller than it is depicted as, and Scuzzy is also quite small. Scuzzy's probably like yay big, right? And this being the only specimen that you found of the species, it is quite remarkable. And you guys are all, well, those of you who are scientifically minded are probably quite interested in seeing how this creature develops, and turns out to be, after running tests and such.
Yeah, is there any jars around here? And like maybe some plastic wrap?
Oh yeah, let me Let me get you some jars, actually. I have some jars on my uploads. My recent uploads, I think.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm going to use 2 jars. One to put my cigarettes out in, and the other I'm going to put some saran wrap across the top and see if that proboscis has any poison in it.
Alright, so let me move that there. You guys have a microscope, of course. You're not that poorly funded. It's probably a really outdated one, though.
I'm imagining like a community college science lab.
Yeah, no, you guys basically have that. Exactly that, and not much more. Where did I
It actually still has the property of written on it. Property of
Yeah, it's got like a faded label
Wayland
with
Community College.
local community college name on it.
Absolutely, yes.
Yep.
Huh. Where did I put
And it's been stamped with surplus across it.
It actually has Wayland Utani written on it, and somebody really carefully or haphazardly smudged that off. And then over top of it, it has some other writing indicating that it was once property of somebody else, and that's been smudged off too. Oh hey, I think I found my beakers. Excellent. Here, you guys have some beakers that you've been using for ashes and such. There you go. Boom. Science lab.
Awesome. Just add water.
Indeed. Well, I mean, if you add water, you could get these ones.
Just add Scuzzy at this point.
Indeed. All right, so walk me through what you're trying to do with Scuzzy, because definitely, by all means, do some tests. You are scientists.
Yeah. So, I think what Orlin wants to do is he's going to try to put some kind of a saran wrap or some type of, maybe just one of those rubber gloves. I'll just use one of my only 2 for the day across the top. Let the proboscis or whatever it's called pierce it. Proboscis. Yeah, whatever you call it. And see if this thing, leaks any poison or anything.
Oh yes. All right.
Trying to milk it of venom, basically, as if it was a snake or
Fantastic.
something.
Yes, this is.
Yeah, that's the idea.
That is a conceptual success right there, my friend. You go ahead and wrap your glove around the lip of your beaker. Kind of shove Scuzzy's head on in there. Give me a mobility real quick.
And here's where it all falls apart.
Yep, everything goes to hell right here.
That is
Not
a
bad.
success. No need to worry. So you wrangled the darned thing, just like you did before, and stick the face, what seems to be the face end up against the beaker, and lo and behold, out comes a kind of greenish milky consistency, a couple droplets of what appear to be just fluid of some kind. Does look like it might have been maybe venomous or maybe that's saliva or something. You're not sure, but it definitely did produce something.
Yeah, I look over at Dr. Sherman and I'm like, oh shit, man, that ain't good. That ain't good at all. Let's look at this stuff in the microscope. Wait, go do your analysis or something.
Me? All right.
Yeah.
So if he hands it to me, I'll bring it over to the microscope and I'll start looking it over and seeing what I can find out.
Yes, as you walk it over to the microscope, you notice that the lights kind of flicker on and off in your car. You've been monitoring the outside with a computing device over here. It's attached to some sensors outside of the car that you're on. In fact, this is the only car that is so equipped to take readings of the outside, and it's basically got an inbuilt motion sensor and a few other gizmos and whatsits. And you notice that it's kind of gone offline during that flickering, or maybe it happened before. You were out of the car for a little bit. You're not sure. The darn thing seems to be kind of on the last legs. Not so happy about that. Our mechanic is, I would imagine.
I swear I replaced the wiring harness on that the last go around, so I don't know what's going on with this thing. Let me take a look.
While you're working on that, I would say that our medic over here is looking at this jar under the microscope. So you probably would have gone through the proper procedures, swabbing it onto a little
slide or something.
Slide, yeah. Placing it inside the microscope. These are some pretty, in the future, even a kind of shitty old microscope can do a whole bunch of good stuff. Toggle the dials, and you get a pretty good look at what you're dealing with here. And you wouldn't happen to have that, I don't know, maybe it's a scientist-only observation talent. What are your talents? Let me look at your character real quick.
Mine is compassion. I can push any empathy skill roll twice.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I think you're looking for analysis or an analyze.
Yeah,
I don't think doctors
analyze,
have.
I think it's the scientist skill.
Right. So I would say that if you call the scientist over, she would also be able to help you with this. So roll me an observation, considering that she's providing you an assist here at plus
1 die.
plus 2, actually. Yeah, she's pretty smart, and she's like, that's the way to, figure out what you're dealing with. That is that, and that is that.
So how do I add additional die? Because I've always been a GM and not a player, so
Totally.
I've never had to click on this stuff.
So you click on it, and it'll actually bring up a box that lets you add them. And don't put plus, okay? It's just put the number in, unless you want to make it a minus, in which case you actually do put the minus symbol on.
Okay.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. I will get back to, of course, our mechanic in a second. Actually, mechanic and pilot, because that's going to be a little bit related. While they're working on this, though, the observation check that tracks, and you and the scientist confer, and she points out some rather disturbing information.
Okay.
The contents of this liquid that Scuzzy produced when you stuck his face up against the vial. There's some there's some cells in there with flagella. You're thinking this might have some living organisms inside it.
So I'll kind of look at that and I'll be like, does that look like it's some sort of symbiotic organism that maybe lives inside of its trachea?
She says, let me real quick. We took a swab of Scuzzy earlier. I think these are cells from this species. It's not a symbiotic organism. I think. Oh goodness.
Well, if they're active like that, that's sweet saddle sores. That's bad news.
I think that's. Pardon my French here, but sperm. Looks like
It's what? It's what?
Say that again.
It looks
And
like.
I'm leaning over them so far, my cigarette is just ashing all over everything.
So I'm gonna look over at Orland where he's squinting, trying to look over, and basically I'm like, "Why are you squinting? You got short eyeballs?"
I just want to know what this is.
Yeah, the scientist. She points out they seem to be highly protected by an external layer. Goodness, it looks like they're intended to be injected into some organism. I can't possibly imagine why, though. If the sperm are just by themselves, they wouldn't possibly have anything to interact with. There's certainly no eggs inside of a host. Or maybe this is perhaps something that they would typically stick into a female of the species.
Oh wow, I thought it was being aggressive, but it was really just being horny.
I can't
Well, you
possibly.
looked at yourself.
I can't possibly
What's
fathom.
Sorry. I'll be like, you're a good-looking feller if you'd calm down a little bit.
Indeed. So you're somewhat relieved that it's not a venom necessarily, although it might not be.
Yeah, it's much better.
Yeah, it might not be that great of a trade-off. While you're learning these potent revelations, our mechanic is busy working on the fixing up the machine that is supposed to be sensing the outside world. And why don't you give me a heavy machinery roll, please?
Okay. And I have my Watsumi bolt gun that's supposed to give me a +2 on heavy machinery rolls.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Feel free to add it.
here we go.
Ooh, lovely, lovely. Oh, you got some stunts on that. Tell me what you want to do. What you really, really want to do.
So while I'm pulling the wiring harness out, I like do this fancy like French braid with it while I'm plugging it into other ports and inputs. And to crimp them, I have this tool in the back of my pouch that I take, and while I'm laying flat on my back, I flip it up in the air and catch it with my other hand, and I like crimp all of them all at once. I'm like, yeah, I still got it.
Wow, what a show off! That is some quick action. All right, so you put that stuff together like it's the engine of a high-powered race car, and she starts humming again like she's never hummed before until she futters out again, and this time the lights flicker even more pronouncedly. It's as if you're having a brownout in your car, and then all of a sudden, our pilot friend over here, you would notice this first. The computers, the nav computers that they're mostly just hitched up to the front forward cars, but they go completely offline, and then you're left in your own little room, completely in the dark. And everybody else is also completely in the dark. The lights have gone off, and the engine is not working. But before that happens, we did get one ping from the sensor. You're not sure if it was accurate, though. It couldn't have been accurate. Because it was the motion sensor saying that essentially the entire prairie was moving. Couldn't have been accurate at all. It must have been a trick of the lighting or some sort of overwhelming electrical feedback or something.
Well, I take after everything goes off, I take a long drink, still with the water because I'm still trying to get the pounding in my head to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Before I turn on, my headset, and I was like, "Roll call, everybody good? We seem to be having a full brownout."
Yes. So, are you contacting just the members of your own car, or are you trying to contact
first
other
I'm
cars?
just contacting the members of the car.
Everybody in the car, you would hear kind of the intercom come on. Roll call.
And the lights have all gone off, right?
Yeah, but there's some light coming in from the windows. You're not completely in the dark. You can see it's dusk outside, and there's some illumination. Everything's very heavily shadowed. But anything that was electronic and hooked up to the engine has gone down.
Vic says, "This is why I keep telling them that they gotta allocate more to the engineering budget. I mean, I can't keep this thing together with duct tape and spit."
Yes. The oh goodness, the music stopped. Let me try that. Let me get that running again.
Although I guess I should be telling this to Malcolm. I mean, you guys can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, wow. Did I say the intercom? I meant to say, if you guys have internal communications on your suits or whatnot, that's where you hear it from. Otherwise, you could probably hear it through the doorway.
Okay.
There's no intercoms that are functional in your ship.
Yeah, I have it through my suit.
Yeah. So, it seems as if, there's been a multitude of events. There have been a multitude of events that have occurred all kind of at once, and it's rather stressful for you. I'd say anybody who seems to be prone to nervousness or anything would go up in one stress as the lights go out And we've learned that our dear friend Scuzzy over here is injecting people with some sort of genetic material of
Sounds like
in
spring
a
break
gross
all
sort
over
of way. Yes, indeed. And hold on 1 second while I take care of something off the screen.
Well, the lights are going off, and this thing can get you knocked up like it's spring break. Maybe we should do something about it.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean knocked up like spring break? I mean, you know what? What do you mean?
Take a look, and I'll tilt the microscope in your direction.
Orlin increases his stress by 2 instead of 1.
And so it begins.
And so it begins. Yes, indeed. That ain't good. That little shit in there swimming around looks a lot like sperm with what she said.
Hey, my purple bag's right here. Sorry about that, folks. My sister needed the car keys and I stole them.
No problem.
Accidentally. Anyway, so yes, there's been a series of unfortunate events occurring in this car, predicated, no doubt, by the misfunding of your train, which has, it needs not be said, seen far more than just one planet-side deployment. So.
Just so you know, Orlin increased his stress by 2 instead of 1, if that's all right with you.
That is perfectly fine. You've learned a lot of stressful things recently.
I did, so yeah, I thought 1 more is certainly appropriate.
I concur.
So I'm gonna pull like my cigarette lighter out of one of my pockets to light it up, just so I can see. I'm gonna look for a Bunsen burner, so I can at least get a little more light for everybody.
Yeah, believe it or not, this really poorly funded train does in fact have a Bunsen burner. They couldn't afford to give you the nice new electric ones. This one runs on oil.
Now spark that up and shine the light around and just say, "Let there be light."
Is there an engineering station in this car that I should probably go to?
It would be behind the pilot's or the driver's seat, essentially. This I don't know if you can see through your pilot's eyes. I'm assuming you can. Let me actually. Yeah.
Can you actually move my token? Because every time I try
Totally.
to move it, it moves the map too.
Oh, wow. Weird. I'm sorry about that. How about now? So this thing right here, that's the engine access point from the inside of the passenger portion of the car. You could also access it from below the car if you wanted to. They do have there are doors that lead out on both ends to a little platform, and beneath that platform you can access the underside of the car even while it's moving. It's dangerous though.
So I'm gonna start by taking off whatever panels are on the top side and taking a look and see if there's anything on this side I can fix before I move down to the outside.
Yes, and are we using the Bunsen burner for a degree of illumination here?
Oh, if we're up by the engine, I'll just turn the headlamp on my suit on.
Oh, excellent.
Even probably like just take the helmet off and like sit it to where he has the light on. As I am, enjoying the dark on my eyes for a moment, just light up a cigarette.
I love that everybody in this party is a smoker.
We're all like, we're not going to live long enough to worry about lung cancer.
It's just
Lung cancer ain't gonna get us. I light up right off the Bunsen burner.
God, Car F must smell really strong.
we just straight in
Bro.
brought in some millennial nihilism. We're just like, whatever.
Oh, amazing, yes.
Bro,
Everything
this
will
car
burn.
smells so bad.
It's alright. You're on an alien planet that probably also smells pretty bad.
No one will notice.
Yes, using the headlamp that is provided by our good pilot, you manage to perform your mechanical duties. Taking off the panels on top enables you to see the interior stuff, and it does look like, lo and behold, those things that Malcolm was talking about earlier, those parts that really needed to be replaced, that you told him needed to be replaced, guess what happened? They busted.
Shocking.
Yeah, right? Shocker. So you think that you could potentially jury rig something that would get your car moving again, because this is slowing down the train, and honestly, they might, if you don't tell them otherwise, they might stop, which is not something they like to do, with exception to deploying expeditions. They might have to stop in order to fix your ship for you, unless you do it right now.
Well, I'll just get on the radio and be like, Love Train, we seem to have encountered a problem with those pieces that we told you were going to be a problem and you ignored. Over.
You hear Dr. Malcolm. Hi, is is this thing on? Testing. Can you hear me?
Unfortunately.
Hi there. Those pieces you were requesting, you are aware that they have a very significant monetary value placed on them. It was simply not in the budget to replace them. However, it is understood that you are experiencing some technical difficulties. Advise, should we pull over for a sec so you can get that under control?
I think. Well, that's.
Yeah, I'll actually just kind of like look over at you while you're working on the engine, like.
So I'm like.
It looks like it might take a minute or two, maybe even an hour if you're actually trying to make something that lasts.
So I convey that to him, and I'm like, I can only work with what I work with that I got. So.
Looks like this might take as long as an hour to fix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this
basically,
is what happens when we have to duct tape things together.
Yeah, you're gonna be replacing a lot of component parts that are integral to the functionality of this engine with duct tape and scrap metal. Is probably the impression that you should be getting. Of course, do you even have the duct tape in the budget? Who knows? But
I have a feeling we've stockpiled that just knowing how they are with the budget.
Indeed. That is quite logical. Malcolm would get online and say, an hour, you say? Let me confer with the guys over here. They're telling me, though, that the engines shouldn't be overworked up front either because, component parts might bust or something like that. So, we might be pulling over for an hour then. Let me confer, though. Give me one sec. Thanks. And he really pronounces the thanks before hanging up.
I just turn, just look at him and go, I fucking hate him.
I nod along in agreement, yeah.
He is the living manifestation of a migraine.
Yeah. So you hear some fizzing and fuzzing on the intercom because he didn't actually hang up. He just put the mic down on the table and walked away. So
I just quietly, since he probably thinks he hung up,
yeah,
and just start singing "Loving You" softly, Just
That's great.
After about half a minute, you hear the engines in the other cars around you start to slow down in synchronicity, and the roaring hum of that front engine starts to dwindle and decrease in volume until you can hear it no more, and the wheels on this convoy slowly begin to settle in place, and you might experiencing an inch or so of shrinkage as the shrinkage as the vessel starts to settle in the loose soil. You feel as though the message was indeed relayed, and you have stopped. Malcolm gets back on the phone.
Of course he does, because I can't have anything today.
Hey! Hi. Okay, yes. Hello. You can hear me, right? Probably
Yes.
You can hear me. We've covered this before. Excellent, excellent. So, we talked it over in the front, and they're gonna shut this thing down for just maybe an hour. So it'd be great, like super great, if we could get this running before the hour is over so that we can resume this survey of this kind of desolate region. Like we don't really want to.
As soon as I have an update on the engine, I will let you know. I take my thumb off so he can't hear me, and I just look at him and go, "Do you feel like he's going to ask us to work on Saturday?" I feel like he's going to ask us to work on Saturday.
You even have to ask. Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. So he gets back on and says, "Excellent, great, thank you so much for all your hard work. And if this doesn't pan out and you need to take more time, that's completely understandable. We do have some Saturday time that can be filled." If you need to work on the engine.
My thumb's still off the mic. I'm like, I fucking called it.
So yeah, you guys are in a dark room. You've been told that you have an hour to fix this engine. And it probably will take that long if you actually want to do it right. Because your jury-rigged solutions that you could whip out in a minute, that would basically be replacing a rubber pulley with a duct tape pulley. It's not going to do the same thing for very long at all, right? So you might actually want to take this time to figure something out. I will let you roll me a heavy machinery to see how well you do in fixing the engine.
All right, so I pull my tools out from my belt again and start working my magic.
Indeed. Ooh, lovely. Well done. So you have indeed the capacity to fix this engine and get it into tip-top shape, or at least as close as you can approximate, over the course of the hour. During that time, I would switch back over to see how everybody else spends their hour in a dark car. You are actually also free to move on to other cars that are less dark if you would like. There are, you're an F car, and the last car in the line is E, F, G, H. Yeah, the last car in the line is H, after which there is a Daihoda tractor attached to the caboose. It just kind of rolls along with the caboose. So you can also step outside. There's an exit here, and an exit here. The exit here would take you to the and also an exit to the north. Basically, northeast, southwest exits, and the exit to the south takes you to the ladder that would take you to the roof of this car, if you so choose. You have some options.
Enjoying the relative quiet and darkness for a moment, where he's like, okay.
Excellent.
Give the pills time to kick in.
Yeah, you probably want to stay still and just vibe for a few.
Rehydrate.
Yeah, you've probably taken one of the beakers from the other room and started drinking that good purified water. That stuff you can actually get a lot of, believe it or not.
Nice. Oh god.
They do have.
I don't want to know where that water's coming from, but
Ben's not asking that question.
They have a purifier on the ship. You don't want to know what it's attached to. Anyway, what are our good scientifically minded individuals doing? Our field researcher and our good doctor. Both of them have just discovered some rather unsettling things about this thing.
Yeah. What do you think we can do about this, Sherman?
Well,
the shit.
first things first, I think we need to do a little bit of testing on this and see if anything comes of it. Maybe we got some biological stuff, and he'll just kind of start rattling around looking for sample jars and petri dishes and stuff, and he'll just start running various tests on a little bit of a smear of the sample on each one, just to see what he might figure out.
You can
if
find
it reacts to any biologicals or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Human tissue in particular.
Indeed, indeed. You can find about 3 petri dishes. You're not supplied all that much petroleum jelly, but you can find about three petri dish worth of substance or of petroleum jelly. And you take some samples of human tissue, presumably from one of you.
If we have, do we have like a small supply of like blood or anything like that? Maybe in the medical.
Oh yeah,
supply?
actually, I would say probably in the med bay, which is. Let me real quick look at my train here, figure out which car is the med bay.
I'll tell him that I'm gonna head down there. And
it's actually 2 cars to the north.
Okay, well, I'll head up there and get some stuff.
And you go up north to the med bay. I don't necessarily need to move you to it, but I do have a full-on map here. You would go to the med bay and you would find a... do you want to join good doctor? Or field researcher? My good friend,
absolutely, yes.
Researcher? Excellent.
Yeah, I'm highly interested in his findings.
Yes. You would find Dr. What was her name? You would find a Dr. Tanner lookalike who is, another scientist on the ship, and definitely not the same person because I only have so many pieces of art.
Yeah, I'm gonna totally blink a few times while I look back, like the door I just came through, then look at her and be like, "All right, whatever." Then I'll just go over to the supply cabinet.
God damn out the stuff facilities.
Yeah, right. They're even stingy on the character art. Look at that. Ah.
It's like you can't even hire multiple people.
The budget here.
Same actor playing multiple characters.
I know, right?
Is
like
there
the Wizard
Doc
all over again.
Listen, Doc, you got to give it to me straight. I got to know this.
I can't give you anything straight yet. I don't know anything yet. Shut the hell up.
We need a birth control pill. We have to develop one.
You do actually have some birth control pills if you want to grab one.
So I'm gonna kind of like eyeball the other doctor in here and pull Orlin off to the side and be like,
she's working on some stuff.
I don't know what this might be doing to you. I want to try to test it out on some neutral samples. You just got to relax yourself because I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here.
Relaxing's my middle name. You know that already. As he puts out one cigarette and lets another one.
Look, just sit the hell down and relax, and I'll start getting the stuff together.
Yep, you rummage through the cargo crates that contain most of your medical supplies. You do find one that's frozen. It's got like some insulin. It's got blood. It's got a whole bunch of other kind of important things to keep on a med bay. It's kind of poorly organized, and you can tell that some of the stuff is actually outdated, but they're not going to do anything about that.
So, once I realize like just how bad this is, I'll just kind of like and start pulling everything out and mumbling the entire time like horse hockey. Look at this, horse chips. What is this? Sweet saddle sores.
So you're doing the Wild West impression of Gordon Ramsay on Kitchen Nightmares. Why is everything out of date?
Amazing.
I'll turn around and be like, this whole lab is lower than a gopher's basement. This is as bad as it can get.
Yeah, you definitely been poorly served by the guys up top. They are not doing you good here. And you can kind of assume that it's Mr. Malcolm's fault. He's not letting anything pass the buck.
Yeah, I don't think assumption is part of it. At this point, it's confirmation.
Yeah.
So, is there any way I can like maybe quick grow some of these cells and see what happens? Like once I expose it to blood and other tissues and such, to see if anything is happening.
Absolutely. So I would say that you've got some materials that would enable you to real quick kind of analyze whether they react or the means by which they react to certain compounds. You do have the microscope, and it is quite a high-tech microscope, in spite being hopelessly outdated by this day and age. It is capable of providing some in addition to light, it can actually shine some radiation on it that would expedite mutations. It's got all sorts of other functionalities to it. You could probably exploit. It's also high enough resolution that you can engage a different mode from the normal mode. You can actually go into kind of like an electron microscope sort of mode with it, as opposed.
Okay, so I can do all that here without having to drag it back to where we have SCSI.
Yeah, if that's what you would like to do, then yes.
Yeah,
did you bring the sample with you?
The sample from SCSI? Yeah. I mean, unless Orlin grabbed it, I didn't grab it.
Yeah, definitely. There's so yeah, it's not displayed on the map yet, but you definitely have, all the same stuff in here that you had there. It's just, not been used for scientific research, but rather for maintaining the health of the crew.
Sure, people get skin knees and, crack a fingernail on heavy machinery, stuff like that.
Definitely. And there's a lot of being stung on this alien planet by something is not actually that rare of an occurrence. They've got some xenobiological nettles and stuff. You just know that if you do get stung or infected on this planet, you're gonna have to undergo a mandatory quarantine procedure that results in no pay for weeks. It's not a fun experience.
They don't even pay for the quarantine?
No, they do not.
What dick cheeses?
Yeah.
Yay, capitalism.
I am firmly imagining that while they're working in the med lab, it's just me and the mechanic just talking shit about Mr. Malcolm like the whole time. Like, what a fucking dickweed.
Going off of the documents in the book, actually, like, I got the impression that humanity as of Aliens universe is gone full libertarian on a lot of things. So.
Oh Jesus! Everything's worse than I imagined.
That is actually more or less the impression I get.
We follow the same practices as the head of our order, Rand Paul. No. That would actually explain the no-pay quarantine.
Yeah, no, all drugs are legal. Megacorps rule the galaxy. There's a lot of things in here that indicate to me that humanity's gone all off in that one direction.
So, are the aliens really that bad?
That is the constant question of the franchise.
You have universal health care until you get sick, then it's revoked.
Exactly.
Yeah, as long as you're healthy, you are completely covered. And
exactly. First sneeze, that shit's revoked.
Do you want me to roll medical?
Yes. So, give me a medical. Yeah. It's probably playing to your strengths, and I would like to improve that. Give me that.
Do I get any modifiers from the lab equipment?
Yeah. You would have a +1.
Okay.
If you'd like to call on the researcher, who is standing right next to you and totally is not the same exact person as Mrs. Tanner, or Dr. Tanner, you could probably even get a +2, but that would involve telling her what you're looking at.
Well, since I'm not telling her the reason why, as opposed to just the, can you help me look at this? I won't reveal the motive that I might have for my curiosity, but so
okay, roll with a +2 then. She comes over and provides you an assist.
What I get?
Excellent. So, would you mind? I think the stunts on medical aid, if you're looking at the book, are not particularly apt for this particular in use of them.
It'd be more like the stunts from science.
Yeah, if you can look at the stunts for the analysis, that would probably give you a better metric as to what you can do with this roll.
Okay.
I don't have the book on my person. I can't show it on the stream because it's a PDF.
Just which one are you looking for? I'll bring it up real quick.
The analysis.
I have the book too.
Talent. Yeah,
the analysis.
We all have the book. I just don't have it in physical form.
Right.
And showing the PDF on the stream would probably be a bad idea.
So
Let's see.
success, per success, it basically gives me. I can ask you a question per success, essentially.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let me give you a brief description of what you find, and then I'll let you ask a question. So generally speaking, you want to. I'm gonna let you do 3 things, 1 per petri dish. What are your experiments?
I want to see how it interacts with organisms that are not native to its planet. Like, can it actually, if it's sperm, can it impregnate essentially organisms that are not native to its world?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that'll be what one petri dish and one series of tests would be.
Specifically human. Let's
Yeah,
work on
right?
human.
Shut up! Shut up!
You told him to sit down. He sat down for like literally 3 seconds and stood right back up.
He just
We can
just
tell this man
vibrates.
has nerves of steel, everybody. Nerves of steel.
Everywhere you walk, it just sounds like clattering teeth and shit. Just
Nerves of
all right.
steel.
Well, what's going on? All right. So I'll run that test.
Mhm.
The next thing I want to determine is does it react at all to any of the common like antibodies, antivenoms, things that would not kill the host, but would definitely kill whatever the invasive
Right.
biological
Okay.
whatever would be.
Fantastic. It's a great
Um,
question.
And otherwise, I want to know what happens when you put it into like a growth media and
Mhm.
let it percolate for a little while. What happens?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'll give you results from all three of those in a very generic sense, and then I'll let you ask your 3 questions, okay?
Okay.
All right, so the first one, I'm assuming you use a sample of human blood and maybe sample of human tissue of some other sort
Sure.
that you have around the lab.
Yep.
I'm gonna say that's more or less what you can use there, unless you want to break out like some other exotic stuff. But I think that's more or less what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, human would be most appropriate. If we have other tissue samples, I think that humans and whatever that other human.
I'd say you probably have a cat blood sample.
Sure, but it's close enough to a human in this for the purposes
In
that I'm
addition
looking
to the
for.
human, you have definitely human blood. So basically, what you find is that the flagellid cells of SCSI do not actually interact with the blood at all. However, they kind of just swim around as if they're in another medium of some sort, just doing what they want to do, basically. Fully going about their normal business. When exposed to blood, that's what they do.
Okay.
They just swim around in the blood. When exposed to tissue, it does not look like they can, of their own accord, penetrate through a skin sample or perhaps a liver tissue sample, whatever you had on
Sure.
hand. They're not digging through anything. They're not exerting any sort of influence on the source material. It looks like they're kind of just going about their business. When exposed to, I would say, the antibodies of a healthy human, the healthy human antibodies, it looks like they identify them as foreign objects at first. But once they try to engulf the cells, it does not look like they... It looks like they engulf one, and they don't try it again. You're not sure why. When exposed to, antivenoms of a certain sort, you actually do have a couple antivenoms specifically acquired on this planet because there were some venomous species that you guys obviously gravitated to researching first because, venom equals biological material that might be interesting to the company, basically.
Right.
So you do find that some of the antivenoms that you successfully extracted from species on this planet, one of them kills this outright when exposed. It is the venom of a native creature that seems to, when exposed to human tissue, blacken the tissue around it, inducing a necrotic state, and essentially it destroys human tissue as well as this. Or the venom does. The anti-venom, of course, negates that process, and controls it, and it looks like
Okay.
it controls this this flagellate cell as well by means of stopping its spread. The other venoms, some of them interact with the cells, not all of them. And by interact, I just mean like, you can notice that the cells kind of gravitate away from it, or it bonds to the cell and nothing else happens. In particular. And the final research question was the growth medium. It does not. So it looks like they do not reproduce of their own. They kind of just float around, and they don't die fast, though, when exposed to medium that would typically enable them to grow and perhaps die at an accelerated rate. They just stay around for a very long time. It looks like they're searching for something.
Okay.
This is atypical of other species that you've examined here. You have not had the time to research the reproductive habits of many species here. However, you do know that this is highly abnormal.
So, and you're saying I can ask a couple of questions
Yes,
to kind of.
you get 3
sort through
questions
this?
now, from what I've told you.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry if this is kind of specific to one person, and I'll do a better job of meeting everybody else's interests, but yes.
So, as far as the antivenom goes, would it be possible to synthesize a diluted? Do I think it would be possible to synthesize a diluted version of the venom that, while it may still have some detrimental effects to a human being, would retain its potency against the scuzzy scuzz?
You think that you could possibly, I would say it would take a successful medical aid, but I think that you could probably accomplish this task. It would be a hard task to accomplish. I would say maybe it's a medical aid -2.
Okay.
But I think you could probably pull it off. Do you want to continue the questions, and then I'll have you, if you would like to continue that course of action?
Yeah,
about that? Yeah.
we'll ask questions more. As far as the growth medium goes, does it appear that the material is searching for its opposite? Meaning, if there is a female version of Scuzzy, does the female version have to also introduce its own gamete into wherever it wants to grow, and then the sperm can then begin to grow within that? Do I get that? I don't know how
That's the impression.
that.
I mean, yes, I understand exactly what you're saying. Yes, that is the impression you get. It is looking for its opposite.
Okay. Trying to think if there's a worthwhile third question, because I have a pretty good idea about what's going on here with this. Can I hold off a question if something comes to me for later, maybe? I might
yes,
have a flash
it can't be a
insight
very
later on.
specific one, because you'll not be around the material again. But if you do come up with another question, and it makes sense that you could have knowingly answered it at the time, then yes.
Okay, thank you. So then in that case, I'm basically going to lean back and kind of I just want to confer with my friend over here for a minute. He's the head of my fantasy football league or something, and I'll literally just say that and start walking towards him.
She looks at you like I don't really need to know. I'm not she looks at you like, I'm not paid enough to need to know.
That's great, thanks.
Yeah, and she
walk
does kind of walk off, and she's reading some files over here in the corner, smoking a cigarette.
You gotta give it to me straight. You gotta give me straight. Don't sugarcoat this. What is it?
All right, so I need to preface this with something.
I don't like prefaces.
Well, then I won't sugarcoat it. I've got bad news.
What's the good news?
Well, there isn't really any. Bad news is you should probably stay inside the train until we get back to headquarters. And if you see anything that looks like it might be that scuzzy but wearing a dress, stay away from it.
What in the world? What does that mean?
Well, it's like one of them neuter species where there's a third host involved with their reproductive processes.
You mean like one's going to put its egg in me and one's going to put its sperm in me and then they come out?
Yeah, it's kind of like date night, but you went out with two people at once and turned into a threesome and a lot of regret later.
Well, I've heard threesomes are fun, but this don't sound fun.
This ain't going to be fun for you. It's not. It's really not. This is one of those things you're not going to want to brag to your grandkids about.
I love everything that's going on here. Amazing.
Let me tell you something. What you should do is sit down, have a glass of water, and let me see if your neck leaks, and we'll figure it out from there.
I can't sit down, but I'll try.
All right.
Now, are y'all gonna go back to the room with Scuzzy in it, or are you gonna wait in this in the med bay?
I'm gonna see if I can try to synthesize the anti-venom that will hopefully kill this.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna take you some time. Probably, I would say probably at least 45 minutes. And hey, would you look at the time? It's been maybe 15 minutes since this whole engine thing started. You probably got enough time before they start moving the train to try and get a diluted sample. It would, however, probably use up all the anti-venom that you have acquired on this mission. Might not make Mr. Malcolm happy.
It's totally worth it.
Well, all right then. While that is going about, we return to our friends over here in the maintenance and piloting business. Y'all are having a good time.
Can you believe that Nick gave just an iTunes gift card last Christmas? Like, what the shit is up with Malcolm?
Excellent. We will see you soon, Mr. Hyde. So yeah, no, you guys have probably been chatting about or gossiping about Mr. Malcolm with your comms off for the last, 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. So
we come up with a lot of different adjectives for him. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. After tinkering about, you do find a suitable replacement for the rubber pulley that completely snapped, and it's just gonna be useless right now. You've scrounged around, and you're honestly starting to salvage the rest of the ship to actually make this part work. But in fairness, it's the most important kind of aspect of it, of the ship's or the vessel's operation. So you're starting to salvage, frankly, through a lot of the scientific gear that does serve some analytical function, but you're pretty sure that they'd rather it be used towards getting this train on moving on time. You can petition for more scientific component parts at a later time. This is more important to you at the moment. So you break down some science gear. You find some gears and some pulleys and some small electronical bits that are actually very important to the functionality of the control system of the engine. And you're probably being helped by the pilot. You might know a thing or two about how this works, or maybe not. Maybe the pilot's just kind of easing off the action for the time being. Taking it all in stride and holding his head like this. It's quite possible that that's what's going on there. After I'd say about 30 minutes of hard work, you're sweating from your forehead. You're putting your miles in here, getting this thing running, and you start to hear a hum.
Is that like a electronic hum?
It sounds electronic at first, but when you really listen to it, it's not like the functionality of a motor. It's more like a buzzing.
So I'm like, Ben, do you hear that?
Ben would
I
probably hear
assume.
it too.
Yeah. Like, yeah, what the fuck is that?
Kind of like a repeated percussive sound, like a buzzing or machinery grinding up against it, or maybe like I don't know, chitinous legs penetrating hard rocky surfaces repeatedly and with large volume of legs. I don't know.
You want to get on the horn and see if anyone else has got an idea what that is? Because I don't know if I want to go check it out.
Yeah, do we have an idea where it's coming from, or?
The window is. Hey, whoever's at the door, you can come in. Sorry. Yeah, so the window you can look out if you'd like, but you can also contact Mr. Malcolm in the front of
Oh
the.
god, I will check out the window first. I don't.
Yeah, you look out the window and you see a dust cloud rising on the horizon. It's not the first time you've seen a dust storm in the prairie. It's not that rare of an occurrence.
I will jump on thing. It's like, from which direction am I seeing this? Dust storm rolling in?
All around. Except not in the front of the ship. It's kind of from behind you.
Alright. Like, we have a dust storm coming up on our tail.
You hear Malcolm up front, and he says, "Hi there. Yeah, we're seeing that dust storm too. Pretty, but we'd like to get moving before it gets to us. How's that engine coming? You fixed it yet? It's been a while. Sure you don't want us to send some guys over?"
Oh, no, we have this well in hand. It's just, things take time.
Time is money.
I found parts. You probably won't like where I found them, but we can talk about that allocation of the budget later. But I got the parts I need.
What budget? You guys are hopelessly over budget at this point. Sorry, but like
I just take my hand off the radio for the moment. I'm just like, I almost want aliens to attack us just so he can die, because I'm certain he'll die, right? Like, you assume that? Like, I assume he's gonna die. You know, it's like, yeah. And like, no, we've got things under control here. Should be too much longer.
Yeah, so he comes on and says, "That's great. So like, you know, the dust storm's nothing to be worried about, but if you could get the engines working before it comes and hits us, that'd be super cool, because, you know, we've got some sensitive equipment, especially on your car with that motion sensor. We've got some sensitive equipment on these cars. We don't really want the dust interfering with that."
I just pop my finger off the radio and just like nails on a chalkboard.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Have a good time fixing the engine. So you feel like that was a little less than helpful.
Just after he gets off, I just sit there in silence for a moment, light another cigarette, and go, "I am looking for a new job after this."
I say, trust me, I tried.
It's got to be something. Like, I don't know.
So, does it look like anything more I can do on the inside? Am I still being like productive working on the inside, or should I? Okay.
You feel that there is going to be, towards the very end of this fixing job, something that you have to readjust on the inside, that you will have to probably go out. Not all the way to the bottom, but you'll have to fix it kind of on the side/bottom. It's not going to be an ordeal, though. It's just going to be recalibrating something to recalibrating a part to accommodate the new size of pipe that you're using on the inside. It's just going to make sure that there's no leakage of any kind.
So that's something I have to wait towards the very end of my job to do, or should I do it now so that I can kind of be outside before the dust storm comes?
That's a good point. If you would like to do so now, before the dust storm arrives, that is something you could do. You would take a Well, I'm not sure I'm gonna make you roll for this, but it would be a pretty hard job to do because you're not quite sure the size of the pipe that you're gonna need to recalibrate it to fit.
So I'm like, hey Ben, I think I'm gonna go outside and try and get that done before whatever's coming, that big storm hits us, because I don't want to be pelted by alien dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll come out and give you some cover.
Cool. So I'm gonna head outside to the area with the part.
Okay, so you both come outside. You are on the side of your train. Lovely, lovely train. Let's see what you guys can see. Control L. Yeah, you can see the outside of the ship now. Wow. Oh, wow. This one car does not have any lighting on it. Interesting. Actually, that one doesn't either. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, you can kind of see the outline of your tractor on the back. It's not like a full-on Daihoda tractor. It's like kind of a its own thing, but it's modeled after the Daihoda. Anyway.
Looks kind of like that ship you get in the first Mass Effect. What was it, the Mako?
I've never
The
played
thing
Mass
that obeyed no laws of physics and would just like randomly jump 300 feet in the air or something.
Amazing. No, this one's definitely not going to last that long if you try jumping it off of cliffs. Yeah, no, especially with the budget cuts. So you see the component down there. You have a pretty good idea of the piping that you'll end up needing. And you know basically where you're gonna get it. There's like there are some pipes in the science lab that you can totally salvage that'll do the same trick. You're pretty sure you know the measurements of them offhand. You've done this before, so you're just gonna kind of scoot yourself down here. Probably gonna lean off the side of the ship, but you're not moving, so you could literally just jump onto the ground if you wanted to. And do it from there. In fact, I'll ask you, which would you prefer?
I think I'll jump down.
Okay. Yeah, so you're gonna jump down onto the surface and look up, fix that, you got your tools with you. You're gonna, real quick, tighten some of the metal gauges and fiddle around with some piping to make sure that it's ready for the new flow volume. It's not a huge deal. You've probably done this before a couple times, but not quite in this particular region of the ship. And
are we still stressed, by the way?
Did you want to take some time to unstress yourself? Because you've been doing some pretty constant activity. Do you want to relieve yourselves for a few minutes? Take a break? That would reduce stress, but it would also prolong the time it would take to fix the engine.
No, never mind. I'm like, I just want to get this done and get out of here.
Of course.
Like, I can relax after.
Yeah. So you fix that up, right? It's looking good. You're pretty sure that you can go back in now and complete the job on the inside. And you probably would look back real briefly before you walk back on in to see what the dust storm really looks like from outside here and not in the confines of your definitely under-cleaned windows. And I would say roll me an observation check, both of you at this time.
Both of us? Or,
whoever's got the better could roll it.
I got one.
a total of one?
Well, 4 wits and 1 observation.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
Which I think is the same as I have.
Bunny, you both give me a roll. You probably rolled this at different times. Bent probably would have been looking this whole time, whereas you would have just looked over your shoulder when you were about to go back.
Okay, you are better than me by one.
1 success.
And it's Vikram, right?
Yep.
Vic, you I'm terrible. Sorry. You look around as you're about to re-enter the car, and you notice something a little off about that dust cloud. Towards the bottom, you see some dark shadows, kind of in an interesting shape. You see some large, dark shadows, about human size, maybe bigger, and they're goodness. No. Could they be rubber duck shaped?
Sounds great.
Dum.
Sounds great about that.
You can't quite make them out, but it looks like there are some silhouettes on the inside of this dust storm. It's kind of unsettling, and they're getting closer. If you deem yourself to be an easily stressed out by terrifying events type of an individual, I would say this probably stresses you out.
Being from the core worlds, I'll probably say, yeah, I'm stressed.
Yeah, there's an alien thing coming towards you, and it's raising dust. There's a lot of them, and they're about your size. They're coming right at you.
So I'm like, Brent, you see what I see, right?
Can I see it once he points it out? Like,
Yeah, once he points it out, you can definitely see silhouettes in the dust.
I'll take my first level of stress and be like, yeah, that seems like a problem. All right.
Indeed.
Let's get back to the ship. I'll get to the radio and be like, it should be noted that dust storm is not exactly a dust storm. There are a lot of these scuzzy fucking things in there.
Scuzzy's small. He's about hand-sized. What are you talking about? Says Malcolm.
Yeah, well, the
over
ones
phone.
in the dust storm are not.
Are you sure you're not letting the fumes of the machinery go to your heads? Are you sure we don't need to send someone down there? We'll send some mechanics. We've got like 1 or 2 others.
Okay, it's like, I'm gonna need you for just 5 minutes or so. Pull your head out of your ass.
Excuse me?
Yes, I have someone up there who has a powered car. Like, do you have anything that has binoculars, something like that? Examine the storm.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
Okay. No. You should have someone do that now.
Fine, give me 1 sec. And then he presses a button, but it's not the hold button. You get some static. He's definitely walked away from the comms again without hanging up. And he goes over. You can hear some talking in the background. You can hear somebody grunting. And, you can hear some fidgeting around. Somebody slams a metal lid on the ground, and it clatters really loudly. It's some terrible interference on your comms device. And you wait around for a minute, and it's really just static and people mumbling and muttering and such. And then you hear, "Oh, holy fuck!" Malcolm's voice.
Yeah.
Not close to the comms, but you hear it nonetheless.
While he's I kind of look over at Vic, and I'm like, do we have an easy way of reinforcing or shuttering the windows on this car?
Excellent question. Probably they're pretty strong windows. They're intended to endure dust storms, and perhaps even some stray rock and silica. These windows have definitely seen all that before. They're not new by any stretch of imagination. However, in terms of reinforcement, you're pretty sure you'd have to maybe even sabotage the grates of the ship, grates on the flooring of the ship. You could probably pry them up, but there's a lot of windows in here.
Okay, so that's not good.
Indeed. I'm assuming you guys move yourselves back on inside.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
You would find that the door that was restraining Scuzzy was powered by the engine. Scuzzy's not in this cage.
My gun is no longer in its holster.
And on that note, I'm going to give us a 10-minute break so that I can use the bathroom, and we will return at 11:05. Everybody, okay?
Then we can start down.
Good.
Be right back.
Mm-hmm. Lee, if you don't Did you get the your desktop? Okay. That is quite alright. Okay. Taking my shoes off. Setting up to get ready to go. How's the stream looking, everybody? It looks like I've had some dropped frames for a little bit. Is it coming through all right for everybody who's been watching?
Happened for me.
Okay.
Yeah, looks more or less okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, sorry again about those technical difficulties.
It's a stream.
Not entirely unprecedented, but certainly kind of frustrating. On everybody's angle. Yeah. Okay. So, alright. Take a look at this. I'm gonna say a little bit less of that. Thank y'all. Yeah, that should do it. Alright, and see those. Nice.
Part of me really wants to run a Subnautica, like
Oh yeah, no, I
2 or 3 episode like adventure using these rules.
definitely would love to see that. I have never played Subnautica. I don't have video games, but like amazing. Yeah, that sounds great.
Subnautica is my Zen game. Like,
It sounds pretty zen to me, just from what I know of it. Except for that whole like pathogen that's in the water.
yeah, I mean that's if you're just following the stories. Like so much of Subnautica is just seeing this amazing ocean ecology that they've built up there. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, I love that shit. I'm a huge fan of figuring out biomes.
And when I found out about Subnautica, my marine biology degree just kind of screamed at me to get it, and it was just like, okay, I get it. It's so much fun.
Indeed.
How much time do you need to use your signature item to relieve stress?
Ooh, that's a great
I
question.
think it's 15 minutes.
Yeah, would you like to have been fiddling around with your signature item while this whole event was occurring? What is your signature?
Probably a good idea. I'm not too stressed, so.
Right. who's speaking, by the way? Is it
Vic, Sean.
Yes. Okay, excellent. Yes. So what is your signature item?
It's a bolt from my first racing sled.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, no, that'd definitely be something you can fiddle with while you're working. Wonderful. All right, so I think we are back. Let me go change this to the non-intermission-y screen. All right.
I think I actually want to change my signature item.
Go for it. Yeah.
Because originally I had the pilot shades, and I still want those.
Right.
But I'm going to make my flask my signature item.
Excellent. Excellent. That is quite realistic, considering all that we know of your character.
Yeah, we're just going to be like, oh, sweet booze.
Ah, yes, the booze. Indeed. Let me find...
Which, if you look at my character sheet, is actually named. It's Long Voyage Cinnamon Vodka.
Lovely. Alright, this guy is going to be our generic NPC character for the continued duration of this film. If you see a guy that looks like he's somewhat balding and wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt, that is in fact a different person each time you look at him, I swear. These budget cuts, my friends. These budget cuts.
I just checked. Signature items are between 5 and 10 minutes. It's kind of dependent on the storyline.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say you've probably been fiddling with this your whole time, and you've had ample time to do that in the midst of working on your engine. Okay, so we are officially back, and I would say that while you are working on the engine, you're getting closer to the finish line. I'm assuming you would go back to the engine work and not reinforcing the windows, right? Or you...
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just gonna go right at it so we can get going.
You're chugging along. In fact, if you would like to make me a mobility roll, I could say you have the time it takes to make all the requisite repairs that you intend to.
So this is bad. I only got 3. So.
I mean, you know, you can always psych out. Or you can always take a degree of stress to work faster.
I'll try. I'm gonna push it.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yes, excellent. Not only do you do everything that you needed to in half the time, you also manage to. You find basically the perfect part you were looking for. It was in a crate marked as scientific research equipment. However, it was literally just mislabeled and put into the wrong bin. Somebody had, in fact, acquired one of those pieces. It was definitely not Mr. Malcolm. It was probably somebody on the scientific side of things who requisitioned it during scientific research component upgrade, and they thought, yeah, my friend down there, they probably need this part that they've been begging for. So let me just help them out and put it in the order. But the person didn't tell you, or was sacked before they got the opportunity to do so, and you didn't know it was there until just now. Great.
Happy surprise.
Indeed, the engine starts humming just as you hear that buzzing sound get louder, and oh, lo and behold, it is indeed not a buzzing noise, but rather a rhythmic thrumming against the ground by blunt, chitinous feet, as a veritable stampede of creatures, billowing dust behind them, approach your car. You've done a great job, however. They're not quite there yet when your engine starts humming along to the tune, and you feel that now you could probably get this whole kit and caboodle on the road, which would be great because, there's something coming for you. You're not sure why. And also, hey, Scuzzy's not here. What the hell's going on with that? I'm assuming that our pilot friend would probably try retreating to the driver's seat.
Yep.
Excellent choice, and I'm going to say that our friend, the mechanic, is in there as well, working on the engine behind the driver's seat. However, our scientist friend is out in the main car looking for Scuzzy, and you hear a scream.
Oh crap!
Son of a bitch.
So, question: Are we basically? Is the train basically being hit by a swarm of these things, just like rushing past?
What
Is that the impression
the
we're getting
impression that you get is that there
up in the
is-
med lab?
Yes. In the med lab, you've not been informed that this is happening. However, you would probably be hearing this thrumming noise. Malcolm, of course, is not going to inform unnecessary crew members that there is a crisis.
Gotcha.
However, you would hear this, and you might think to look outside.
So yeah, I mean, if it sounds like there's things just slamming up against the sides of the wall, like bing, 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 bing,
They're not there
I'm probably
yet.
gonna go. Oh.
But you would see the dust rising, and you would hear a rhythmic thrumming against the ground, as if a stampede was underway. One quickly approaching.
Okay. So when I hear the scream, I step out of the door with my gun in hand.
You hear the.
I'm gonna follow behind him with the bolt gun pulled out.
Smart. The scientist screams, "It stung me! It stung me on my finger! I don't know where the hell it went, but oh, it's swelling! Ah!" She's freaking out. Her hand is definitely swelling. It's as if there's some sort of allergic reaction underway.
The doctor. Do you have like?
The good doctor is in the med bay.
That's what I was about to ask if he has a headset with him.
If that's part of my standard gear, then yeah.
What's your standard gear looking like?
I have a medical kit, surgical kit, and a pack of Balaji unfiltered cigarettes.
My friend, I'm afraid you probably do not have an internal comms device. Budget cuts.
No, but we have power back. I can directly contact
You
the med bay.
you can use the intercoms of the craft. Yes.
So I'm just looking out the window like, what in tarnation?
Yeah, and you just hear, Doctor, we need you back here with Scuzzy. Scuzzy seems to have stung our resident scientist.
As you're hearing this, you're probably looking out the window, and as you're looking out the window, you can vaguely make out a shape. It looks rubber duck shaped at first. It's just a silhouette, but then it gets closer and closer and closer, and you're squinting. You're looking out through these smoke-covered windows that have definitely not been cleaned in a very long time because there's actually no janitor in the staff, believe it or not. And you look out through these foggy windows, and you see something that looks a little bit like this.
I don't know
Great
what this
Caesar
is, but
salad! What the hell is that?
Massive burrowing claws in the front, a face of nightmares, and rows of teeth on the inside as it scuttles towards you on crab-like legs. Its body, phenotypically resembles a rubber duck in some ways, but it is rather grotesque to look at. And there's a lot of them, have I mentioned. Quite a few. A little bigger than a human.
So can I hear him barking at me over the intercom at this point?
You can hear him.
All right, so I'll just be like, "Hold your horses! I'm coming!" And I'll turn around to Orlin and I'll basically say, "Look, I got a medical emergency. I want to keep an eye on you, so you better come with me."
Yeah,
Right.
all right. That's fine. You got any birth control pills yet?
I haven't got a chance.
You've hitched the anti-venom up to a dilution machine, and it looks like it's gonna take just a few more. It's gonna take maybe 10 more minutes to come up with something that'll neutralize the biological agent play. However, you do
Don't worry.
remember that Biodrill, LaSalle Bionational's equivalent of Benadryl, did reduce the swelling quite a bit in the last stinging case that you experienced.
Yeah, so I'll grab some of that and I'll just tell Orlin, "Look, I'll have you back on your feet in less than 2 days. You might have to sell your car to pay for it, but you'll be fine."
2 days. I ain't got 2 days.
So are the two of you going to go back to the other
Yeah.
to the car F? All right. So
Yep.
you
I'll
guys
put a fresh trigger in my mouth and just start stomping down the corridor.
You guys are forced to go between cars. It is a bumpy ride as you guys are slowly starting to move again. It is not pretty. There's a great degree of silt that your cars, that the car wheels are currently trying to overcome. So you're spewing out dust, and you're not really moving that fast. It looks like this just kind of happened when you sunk into the prairie. On these very, very heavy cars that do have wheels that typically would reduce the shrinkage factor, but you've sunk quite a bit. So you're overcoming that currently, and you're not moving very fast, but you guys are able to move through the cars with quite a degree of ease. And when you finally get to the door over here, you can see that, you can see kind of to the side of the vessel on this side, and I'm gonna say you can probably see to the side on that side too, and I'm pretty sure that they're catching up. These creatures. They're catching up. It looks like there might be one dangling off of the tractor already.
Holy shit. Are those the females?
I'm sure it'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
They're quite a bit bigger than the scuzzy specimen that you found. And those claws, they look really, really sharp and capable of burrowing through vast quantities of earth and probably other metallic things.
You want to call these ones skirties?
I'll tell you what we do. We need to throw Scuzzy back out. Get Scuzzy the fuck out of here.
That'd be great if you knew where Scuzzy was.
I'm looking for him.
Yeah, so I come right back into the playpen, and I'm like, where the fuck is Scuzzy?
The scientist, whose hand is, really swelling now, she says, I don't know! Scuzzy was here, and then he was gone, and then he stung me, and then he's gone again!
He stung you too? I mean, he stung you?
Look at my hand! Oh my goodness! She's freaking out as if there's some sort of, she's worried that she's like turning into an abomination mutant sort of thing, which is totally, totally not something that can happen in this universe. But she's freaking out. She's really worried about that hand.
So I'll tell her, look, you're acting like an unbroken colt. All I can do is give you enough rain to let yourself wear out. Now, you let me see that hand or not?
Don't touch it, you might get infected. That's not a thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of stare at her, open mouth for a little while, let the cigarette hang for a little bit, I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor too, but I've never seen anything like this. You can tell that she's not a medical doctor.
Can I use command to calm her?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Panic?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
She's freaking the shit out, yeah.
So I'll say, Missy, you gotta calm yourself down. There's no reason to panic. Everything is in hand. And then I'll just kind of hold my hand out to her to, for her to give me it so I can help her.
Mm-hmm.
Let me find my character again. 1 second. Where did he go? Here he
I love
is.
this synthwave. It's very, very reusable and versatile.
While that's going on, I'm going to go to the window to see if I can keep an eye on where the things are.
You calm her down. Yeah, she listens to your logic and she says, okay, do you know how to reduce the swelling?
Yeah, and I'll shoot her with what are they? Adrenaline, a little bit of adrenaline for the immediate, and then hand her a Benadryl and tell her that the bill will be in the mail.
She says, "Oh, can you make it swell again? I can't afford this." And
yeah, sure. And I'll open up a door and just start slamming up.
As she makes this sort of joke, sort of wry fatalistic humor, sort of quip.
Yeah.
Who's it looking out the door? Or
Vic.
window? Vic.
Window.
Yes. Okay, Vic. Where are you? Oh yeah. I'm gonna show you what you see. There's some dudes, or I should say perhaps dudettes, in the background. They're gaining. One of them has almost reached this wheel. They're running faster than the train.
So I'm like, guys, they're almost on us right now. What are you gonna? Are we staying here, or are we gonna move up the train, get out of here? What do you guys want to do?
I think they're coming for Scuzzy. We gotta find Scuzzy and throw Scuzzy overboard.
Guys, want to give me an observation check?
The Skirtles are coming for Scuzzy. Just find Scuzzy, throw him out the window, it's fine.
I have a brief bit of real world news that is relevant to what we are doing tonight.
Yes.
Ian Holm, who played the original android in Alien,
Oh yes.
died today.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, that is truly tragic. Ash is a remarkable character, and he was portrayed very well by the actor.
He's good
He's a
in
robot.
so
He's a goddamn robot.
Yeah, he was really good at his fucking job.
He, I really thought he has a good sense of comedic timing too. He was in Fifth Element. He played the priest Cornelius.
Oh my god, I love
Fifth
Element so much.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I don't trust anyone who doesn't love the Fifth Element.
That is tragic.
Also, he was Bilbo in the Lord of the Rings. And
No
loved him.
kidding. I did not know
And
that.
he was in Chariots of Fire. He's been in a shitload of movies.
Yeah,
He was one of those ones who always performed no matter what.
Indeed. Not to.
That is a blow. That
It
is a blow.
Yeah. No, I don't want to undercut such a moment as this, but we can definitely continue discussing the the tragic loss that our community is experiencing when we finish the episode. Yes. And of course, obviously, respect. So
Orland's losing his shit.
Yeah. Sorry, let's get that. Okay, so with an 8, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's tremble, meaning that your
Yes,
agility
tremble.
is
Yep.
reduced by 2, correct? Or 1? I don't
Yeah,
exactly.
that is correct. That's what an 8 would do.
Yes. So you're trembling, but you see Scuzzy. You, my friend Orlin, you know the source of your ails, and you use your spidey senses essentially to figure out that Scuzzy is on the roof underneath some piping, and it should be quite easy to nab if you were to successfulmy negotiate a mobility check.
All right, let's do this.
When he's making that roll, can I make my last medical question because something has occurred to me?
Yes.
Do I think that Scuzzy, whatever he's injected into him, possibly
I've been injected, bro.
You know what I'm saying? That there might be like a pheromone interaction with the body chemistry that would lead the Skirtles to the Scuzzy injectee?
That is a great question. It looks like in addition to the cells, which you were focusing on earlier, there was a degree of liquid that was inserted as well. And it didn't really register you at the time because it was just simple biochemical. But thinking back on it now, that is biochemical with some aromatic qualities to it. Might be that it's detectable from a very far range. You think that there is possibly a high chance that Orlin and maybe now the good doctor of this vessel smells like they're ready to be introduced to the second part of this fertilization equation. There's a slight chance that they're giving off a smell at this point.
Oh my god.
So I'm just gonna mumble something like that's starting to smell like a Alabama whorehouse in here, and that we got to start dealing with this situation pronto.
You probably can't smell it yourself, but if you were an interested party, like the things outside, you might start gravitating towards those who have been previously introduced to this. Now, Orlin, was that mobility counting the -2 that you just incurred from trembling? It doesn't actually.
Oh,
matter.
I did not. You want me to just re-roll it?
No, please don't worry about that. I'm looking at the scores, and those last 2 dice did not actually count for much. You succeed. You nab Scuzzy right in the underneath the proboscis area, and you feel like he's biting you because it looks like his mouth is actually underneath this proboscis, which you now know is some sort of injection device. But it doesn't perturb you. The bites don't actually mean much, and it doesn't look like he's got more than just gums. So yeah, you nabbed him. You found him. You wanna throw him overboard?
I'm throwing his ass out. Yeah, he's a real dickhead.
Literally.
He's a real dickhead indeed.
This little bitch has got to go. I just sling his ass out.
Okay, so the windows don't actually open from the inside or the outside at all. They're just kind of parts of the machinery. So you got to do this from the door.
You slam the bug up against the window.
So I slam him up against the glass. Then have to catch him again. Then I take him outside.
You definitely hurt the motherfucker. Roll me a close combat, please.
Well, I'm terrible at that, but here we go.
Don't worry, it doesn't actually matter. Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Slamming this
No injury.
You hear
up
a
against
little
the window, just like die.
Squeak! When you bash him up against the window.
He's made of 90% testicle. Leave the poor guy alone.
Just so you know, while all of this is going on, I'm standing over taking like my 5 minutes with my signature item, just kind of fondling my flask and watching this go on.
Yes, please.
Me too. I got my bolt out.
Yes,
I'm trying
those
to
of you who are interacting with your signature items, reduce your stress accordingly. Yes. Orlin, you pop the door open, and you see that our good friend here has gotten a little bit closer. You gonna throw?
I'm assuming its head actually looks like what you've drawn there, right?
Yes, that is
yes.
exactly.
Okay, so I try to throw Scuzzy right toward the face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like right to the face.
Yeah, no. Let me roll something real quick.
That's never good.
Let me roll something real quick. That is a submit. Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be terrible.
So yeah, Scuzzy is eaten. You see the mouth just clomp down on Scuzzy. You hear a swallowing noise, and yeah, Scuzzy's no more.
But they're still coming, right?
They're still coming.
Oh shit! Run back in and shut the door. It didn't work, y'all. It didn't fucking work.
Yeah, Scuzzy's dead though.
Well, if that was our
Scuzzy is gone. They straight ate him.
You're worried that you probably smell like Scuzzy smelled, and you saw what happened to Scuzzy.
I start wiping my hands on the engineer here.
I would say that this particular specimen of the species, however, is no longer pursuing you.
That's good, but how many more were there?
She's back there smoking a cigarette. She's fine.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot. So yeah, you guys are where you are, and I think maybe it might be prudent to start that initiative tracker.
What?
I don't know. Just thinking out loud. Who knows? Give me some initiatives. Click your character. All right, before you do anything, Orlin, you did it perfectly. Yes, but everybody else, I don't know how familiar you are with Roll20. So click your tokens, please, and then while your token is selected, hit that initiative dice roll, because if you do that, it will show up on my turn order, and everything will be super dope and easy and hunky-dory, and we'll all have a great time. Excellent, everybody did it right. I'm so happy.
Except for me.
Yeah, you pulled the card again, man. You got hit nice.
Wait, shit. Shit. Sherman, roll again. It's okay though. I can add you to the I can I can add the update.
So I select the token, and then I hit initiative card or initiative dice.
Initiative dice.
Yeah, we don't use the cards. Sorry.
I'm going last.
Whoa, hold up, Sherman, you're going first.
I thought initiative was lowest to highest.
No, it's highest on this one.
Oh,
I'm pretty
we've
wrong.
always done the other way, but
I
whatever.
could be wrong, but I've been running it highest to lowest. So
That's fine. It works either way.
Yep. All right, Sherman, my friend, you are you're going first. You feel that at the end of the turn, these creatures are going to get a lot closer. They're pretty much surrounding you.
There's really not much Sherman probably can do other than run back to the med lab and see if he can find the synthesized anti-venom to hopefully resolve this. So he's like, I'll be right back. Nobody die. And then I'll just open the door and start running up to the next card and get into it. And I'll as many actions as I can.
Yep, I'm gonna say you get right here. You're almost at the door to the med bay.
Sure.
So that's I'd say that's 2 sections. Does that track with you? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's fine.
Agree? All right. Okay. So, those of you who are not our good doctor, what would you like to do with your turns as these creatures gradually continue, not gradually, exponentially increase their velocity towards you now that they've caught a fresh whiff of that good, whatever you guys are putting off?
Did the doctor tell us what his hypothesis was?
I haven't told anybody anything.
I don't think he did.
I didn't say shit.
Yeah.
I just said, I'll be right back. Nobody die. And I ran out the door.
Oh, I love comedy of errors with regards to communication. It's my favorite trope. Everybody, what are you doing?
I'm going to head back to the driver's seat. I feel like I'll be most useful there.
Indeed. You know that you can unhitch this car if you would like to. It would require manually unhitching it from both ends, but it would let you escape. If you want to abandon everybody else. There's also the Daihoda tractor in the back, which you can very, very adeptly pilot, and it goes faster than this train.
So I'm gonna go
Keep going
follow
to
the
the
doctor.
drivers.
Okay. Sorry. So let me get back on the turn order here. So the pilot. What would you like to do? You're going to the.
I think I'm going to head to the tractor, actually, from what you said.
Yes. Okay.
It's
Excellent.
faster, because this thing is not going to... We're not going to be able to escape this swarm in this thing.
You could definitely fit everybody who's a member of the F car on this, and you know that 2 members of the F car you know that at least 1 member of the F car has been stung by Scuzzy and probably is producing the smell. And if you have any compassion towards her, you'd probably want to get her off of this slow-moving vessel. So.
Yeah. So I assume that each car has its own frequency, so you can just talk to your own members. Be like, F car, head back to the tractor. We're not going to be able to escape this swarm in this thing.
Okay. So I'm assuming you run ahead, right?
Yes.
Okay. You get here. You are seeing some serious accumulation of the creatures on the sides of the vessel. It does look like they are still headed towards F car. You are
What is
not.
with diesel shot and giant crab things?
Up. I like crabs. Okay. Next question.
Also, I bombarded you and Lee with crab images. What was it? 2 weeks?
Yes, you did. You are 1 car from the tractor. You are aware of this. You do see the creatures coming towards the F car. They haven't noticed you or given any sign that they give a shit about you.
Just, as I'm moving through the car, are the sections between the cars out in the open?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to step through the doors until it's, I can make it all the way across the area.
Okay. Entirely valid.
I've got my gun in my hand, but those things are big and nasty, and I want to live.
Indeed. So, I'm gonna say it's Vic's turn. Vic, Oh wait,
All
I
right.
should probably change the song to something more dramatic. To be QH. Let me grab something. Although I'm really vibing to this song. That said, I think something by Zombie Nick, our great friend, Zombie Nick, friend of the show, has provided us with something suitable. All right. So, Vic, it is your turn. You fixed the engines. She's running smoothly. Other things aren't.
All right, so I did my job on that, but I think I'm gonna want to get the hell out of Dodge with the pilot. So, is there 4 doors in this F car? You said.
Yes, north, east, west, and south.
All right, so I'm gonna go through the bottom door, but I'm going to take my bolt gun and I'm gonna bolt it shut after I go out.
Oh shit! Are you locking the? Are you locking both? Both of your friends in, or are you going to wait for them to get through?
I want to make sure that they have to at least have a healthy distance between them and me as they progress. So
Ooh.
that's why I want to bolt the door behind me, so they have to go through an alternate door that's further away.
Hey, bud, the only difference between me and you is a couple of drinks.
Well, I'll be. This is an interesting development. Yes, that is. I'm gonna say you move to here, and you are out in the open, right? And at this point, you can bolt that door shut. Give me a heavy machinery +3.
Okay.
1 success will do it.
Booyah.
Gah.
One you got. This door is quite sealed. If I'm understanding you correctly, am I?
Yes.
Excellent.
Of course, I don't know that, right? I don't know that inside the car.
You would probably hear some mechanical on the other side. And you do know that this individual has something capable of sealing things.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you can get almost to outside of this door before it is the end of your turn.
Okay.
If that's how you would like to play it.
Yeah, I'm just making a beeline for the back.
Wonderful. Alright, it is Orland's turn. Orland, you've heard some over here down at the bottom of that, towards that door. You are aware that there are quickly approaching these creatures generating a dust cloud as you are attempting to flee the scene. You know that your friend, the medical officer, has absconded to the medbay to the north, and you are pretty sure that he's trying to help you, but you also know that the tractor is to the south, and you were told you should go there.
What's this character's name here?
Dr.
Doolittle.
Tanner. It's Tanner.
Tanner. Okay.
Megan Tanner.
Megan Tanner. Did you see these things out here? Come look at them.
She looks out and she freaks the fuck out. She's like, oh my goodness,
I'm going to try to open the door and push her out.
holy shit! Roll me an empathy save.
Oh, man. Empathy. Okay.
Roll me an empathy. God damn. If you fail, this is totally fine. But,
By the time I get back to this car, everybody's gone and everybody's dead. What the actual crap?
The music just took an adequate turn for this event.
yeah.
Oh, that didn't roll my stress die when I did it that way. Let me roll. So it's going to be straight empathy, but I'll roll command, so it'll roll my stress dice because I have 0 in command.
Go for it.
Will that be okay?
Yeah.
I don't think stress actually applies for that role.
Yeah, no,
It might.
actually, I think it doesn't actually. So the stress die.
Oh. Okay.
No, I was gonna. Yeah, I was kind of not sure quite yet, but I do think that is kind of free of stress. So
Oh, actually, I wanted to fail. I did fail.
Yeah, you want to fail.
Okay, I got it. Sorry. I got confused with the rules.
Empathy 2. I see how it is.
Yeah.
the door
I got
opens, and the good doctor, she stands here and she says, "Those things, are they coming for me?" She looks at her hand, and then she looks in your eyes, deep into your eyes.
Nah, I don't think so. And I just shove her out.
She falls.
Well, that's the first cold-blooded murder I think we've had of a team in this.
She's quickly swept up, and oh man. Before she falls though, give me one roll. Close combat.
Okay.
+2.
Oh, I didn't add a 2.
Yeah, roll me 2 more d6.
I'll just roll 2 base dice, yeah. Okay, I basically just panic.
Okay, so what actually happens?
Okay.
You push her. She is pushed. And she is teetering on the edge. She's looking at you like, why? As she slowly begins to lose her footing. However, she's going to make a mobility roll to
Fair
see
enough.
if she does not fall. Because you kind of failed to push her all the way.
I did.
She gets a little bit of a chance to survive. How about that? Well, let's see how it all works out.
Not well.
Not well.
Not well.
She teeters. She extends her hand, her functional, non-swollen hand, and she says, "Please!" As she falls backwards. She hits the ground, and the train continues moving, and she is swept away into the gaping maw of an awaiting. What did we decide they were called? Skirties?
Skirtles?
Skirtles. Ah, yes. Well, this Skirtle is well fed, let's just say. And that is an automatic success on its attack, and it vacates the premises. It's no longer interested in following the train.
It's gotta
I
be.
was over on the side when that happened, and I'm like, wow, even for me, that was cold.
It's Elf picking out curtains right now.
You would have seen. You are pretty much the only person who would probably have seen most of this. I think everybody else is not in a great position to see this.
I'm like, damn. At least I gave them a chance.
I didn't know anybody saw me, but there we go. It is what it is.
This person is outside of the train and within earshot of all of this, and then they definitely saw the person fall.
If we're allowed to start murdering other people in the train, I'm killing Mr. Malcolm before he leaves. You're like, God damn it, if he got to do it, I get to do it.
So, let's do a heckin' mobility on the big old dudes. Oh, wow, that is, yeah, hi. So, this guy pops up right next to you, and they don't really care that you're there, but at the same time, you're kind of in their way. They're gonna attack. And they're going to roll that good 1d6.
So I'm making a roll, or you're making a roll?
Nah, I'm making a roll. And that is claw attack, my friend. It makes sense. They don't want to use their head for something that's not important. Like you.
Actually, that bolt in the door might help me.
Now, if you're, this is Vic, right?
It is about human size, if not a little larger.
Well, no, Vic. I mean the character.
Oh. This is...
You
yes, Vic.
You have close combat. You can attempt a block action.
You can.
Yeah, I have my bolt gun, so I have something to parry, right?
Yeah, I mean...
Make that pans. Yeah. I
So
believe
is that
it's a contested close combat?
Yeah, it's just a close combat roll. And you can use your successes to cancel out
Exactly.
All right.
This is how my synth doctor survived a fight with a...
Ooh, fuck.
I do believe you can push that if you really want to, though.
That pans.
Wouldn't be a
Yeah,
bad idea.
I think you can.
Yeah, I think survival instinct kicks in, and I'm gonna try and swing again to try and knock that thing away
All
from
right,
my face.
Vicky, let's see how this pans out.
Jesus!
Shit! Oh,
Never
damn.
mind.
Oh man! Oh man! Oh man!
Wow.
The dice are just not on your
That's
side tonight.
Crazy.
I can fix everything, but I can't protect myself. Worth shit.
Goodness, it's like you're a Sith Lord or something. Anyway.
Exactly.
Right. Anyway, though, you're gonna take 3 damage, my friend. Three whole ass damage, armor piercing.
Ouch.
So I'm
Those
actually going to use
claws.
my talent, Resilient.
Which is such a great talent. Oh my
Yes,
god. So
yes.
good.
Read me the description of resilient, my friend. Also,
He just gets his strength as armor.
Only the hardiest folk survive out here. Roll for strength only. No modifiers. Anytime you suffer damage, can't be pushed. Does not count as an action. For every success rolled, 1 point of damage is eliminated.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
Yeah,
Yes,
you just
give
get
me-
roughnecks. Their strength is armor. Like,
That is fucking amazing. Give me that roll, please.
All right, so that's 5. So I don't really have anything to click on strength. So it's like
Yeah.
I got to do it on
If
the
you have
D20.
Yeah, or well, a suitable number of d6 would suffice.
remember that stacks if you're wearing any armor.
Hey, 1 success.
It's armor piercing though, so it probably wouldn't.
Well,
Okay.
that only has armor.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. That's true. Are you wearing armor?
I'm not.
Okay. So that is 1 success. So you take 2 damage. What do you add to start with? You probably have a good strength, so you're probably.
I was at 5.
You're at 3 now, my friend. You have incurred some pretty brutal claw attacks to your personage. You are bleeding from your chest. Your jumpsuit torn. You're covered in your own blood, and this creature is looking at you with its 4 eyes all down the side of its face, like, get out of my way. Although
You just asked. Put a move.
it can't articulate concepts like that. It's not really sentient like we are. It's just looking for a little love. And you're not her type.
Story of my life.
Yeah, the creatures are quickly approaching the F car.
That's where I am, right? That's where Orland
Yeah.
is, right?
Well,
The F
that's
car.
not. Yeah, it's only where Orlin is. I'm afraid, Mr. Hyde, you are still a hot commodity.
Well, that's just the story of my life. What can I say?
What a pity. You probably noticed that one of them has crawled onto the tractor and is trying to get onto the train by means of jumping from the tractor to the train. It has not quite gotten to that part yet, and these things are really quickly trying to get onto the F train. One of them has managed to climb up onto the side and is quickly approaching that door, but it's does not have the mobility to succeed in getting there quite yet. It is back to Mr. Potter's turn.
Super quick question. Right now, my token is currently outside the train. Am I inside or am I outside?
Did you want to end your turn on the inside? Because that is fine.
Yeah, I was basically pushing her out the door and then shutting
Yeah,
it.
there's a little platform there, so like I kind of figured
Yeah.
you probably want to make
Okay.
sure that the job is done, right?
Yeah, I'm inside. So yeah, I just want to make sure I was
you're
inside.
Back inside. You're back inside. Definitely.
Cool enough. Appreciate it.
No, totally. I mean, you didn't even move all that much. You just pushed somebody to their death, and now that's on your hands. Anyway,
It is.
Mr. Potter.
Yep. So
You
I'm
don't
gonna-
hear any of that. You don't know that your friend's a murderer. You're just kind of trying to fix him.
I'll run in there, grab 2 syringes, pop them into my overcoat and, hypo spray, whatever I need. And is everything synthesized and ready to go for me?
It's pretty much there. You're pretty sure that it needs another 15 minutes to complete the dilution cycle, but At this point, it would not kill the person that you put it into.
Might just make him real sick.
Yeah, it'd probably make him real sick.
So I'll just be like, good enough, and I'll grab it.
All right, you got that syringe in hand. I'm afraid that is pretty much all you can do on that turn.
That's fine.
Excellent. So you're standing there ready to run back out. Our good doctor here is like, what the hell is going on? What have you put into this beaker? What are those syringes? What are those things that are attacking us?
Well, see, it's mating season, and I gotta inoculate someone from being. It's complicated.
She says, story of my life reminds me of my third husband. Anyway, and she starts prattling on. That is the end of your turn.
I assume, much like the pilot, she's been drinking some.
Oh yeah, no, she's drunk. She's crossfaded actually. It was not tobacco she was smoking. Anyway, it is our pilot's turn. Pilot, that tractor, oof, so tempting. It's so close, yet so far away. What would you like to do? It's like
I can see this guy over here, right?
yes, but you can definitely run to that next car before they get a chance to
Yeah.
strike you.
Well, running is a fast action. My slow action is, as I said, but I am going to take a shot at that guy just because
Ooh, give me that attack.
it's too close. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
Ooh, nice. All right.
Nice.
What would you like to do with that extra damage, or with that?
I want to
extra
knock it prone.
Lovely decision. Oh, so beautiful. Yes, you deal 1 damage to it. The creature shrieks in agony and falls off of the train car. In fact, kind of sliding a little bit because you are actually moving. These things are just
Okay.
faster. Yes.
I just yell after it, tuck and roll.
Yeah, you're definitely a little bit drunk.
Keep going.
Yeah. All right, so you run in here, and this whole back carriage is a bit of a mess. Make me a mobility roll to get to the end.
Sure, I can do that.
Lovely. That is a success. You get to the end here, and now you make me an observation check.
I am less good at that.
Ooh,
Not that
nice.
matters fair.
Apparently, you're pretty good at it.
If it matters to you, Bent, you've got a little bit of a bogey on your tail.
Could you turn the music down just slightly? I'm having a hard
shit,
time
I'm
hearing.
sorry.
That's fine.
I love this jam. Zombie Deck is.
No, it is great.
Fantastic. No, but yeah, sorry. You've got a little bit of a bogey on your tail, my friend. By which I mean there is one of these creatures, one of these skirtles, right outside the fucking door. You could
Like
probably
outside.
open the door and slam them off with a successful close combat.
Is a successful what?
Close combat.
Close combat? That is not my specialty in any way, shape, or form. I got that extra success on observation.
What did I
I'll just do it. How do I get in, past, or away?
Okay. So that you could knock this motherfucker off. And I would give you a +1 to that roll. You could, however, also take this one of the sideway directions, or one of the side exits, which would let you gain access to the rim of the car and let you walk around the side. So you could exit through here and just totally avoid it. You could exit through the south, which is what you're primed to do, which would let you, knock it off potentially with a successful combat, +1 because you've made this observation roll and you've figured out how to do this right. Alternatively, there is a sky hatch. It would take a mobility roll to reach, but considering this place is kind of a mess and there's chains and cargo all over the place, you could probably climb up to the sky hatch, get onto the roof.
I think I'm going to go with Sky Hatch.
Okay. Give me a mobility.
All right, let's see. Mobility.
That's a success. You're on the motherfucking roof. I'm gonna put you here. Actually.
This has been a good turn for me.
Yeah, no, you're on the roof. You can see quite clearly all this. You can see all this. Yeah, I'm moving your character around, but you're kind of right here.
Okay.
You can see that the place is kind of surrounded, and one of them's on the tractor. You don't know if they'll be there for long, and you're pretty sure they're not after you, but they're up there.
They are definitely there.
They out here. They out here. And with that, I'm gonna end your turn.
Sounds fair.
Hey, quick note for SJN. Under the gear tab, you can adjust your own music volume level. Just go to the gear tab and adjust
I tried it earlier and it wouldn't.
I'm sorry about. Is the music volume okay?
Oh no, there it is.
No, it's fine because you can adjust it individually. You can turn yours all the way up. We can turn ours all the way down. No big deal.
Okay, I didn't actually see that option earlier.
Yeah, it's under the gear, my settings, master music volume level.
I was looking under the jukebox thing. Oh, makes sense.
So if somebody's totally jamming out to it, you can turn it all the way up, and those of us that don't like it can turn it all the way down. It's no biggie.
Hell yeah! No, I've done that.
Of course, I like it actually. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
well, no,
Zombie
it's
Nick
good.
on
I
YouTube,
just
fantastic
just the volume
musician.
different.
We love it, and we did request permission to use their music, and lo and behold, they said yes, and we have some dope tracks from Zombie Nick. So everybody, please check them out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when I can stream role-playing games again.
Yeah,
since I got
please.
permission from Iron Cthulhu Apocalypse to use some of his music.
So cool.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
So Vic, it is your turn. You are currently in a bit of a situation.
So am I engaged in combat, or is he just kind of there? Or she just...
Yeah, she is, well, she's kind of trying to move you out of her way. You think that she's probably going to try and kill you.
Alright, so I'm right by the door.
Yeah, you could also slip into the door. She probably wouldn't give a shit if you just left.
Yeah, I gotta go through the car.
Yeah, her response to you being in her way is, yeah, I'm gonna kill this thing. So
That's understandable.
you can move through the car freely. You are give me a mobility +3. Mostly just because I want to make sure you don't trip and fuck things up. That's a fucking success. That's 3 fucking successes. All right, you jogging up in here. You pop that door out. Door pops out because it swings both ways apparently, and it just bashes this creature in the head. She's kind of like a little delirious, and you ram yourself through that door. You are good to go, my friend. You're going south, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm going right through.
All right. Yes. Excellent. With that mobility roll, I would say you probably can even get through these doors with it before your turn ends. You can see, however, while you're on the bridge between cars, that these creatures are quickly approaching, and they look like they're going to mount the train in their next turn in a very serious way. It's time for escape or die.
Nice. So, yeah, if I could get in there, I'll get in there.
You can get in there. You do not see anybody, but the door to the roof is open for some reason, and the sun is shining through in the dying day, or in the dying moments of its light, as it is nearing dark.
Is that all my actions?
Yeah, getting this far is the entirety of your movement. It's not easy running between cars in a moving train. And
all right.
Sorry, that was unintentional. It is currently, unless you wanted, if you had like a concept for a very quick action that you would like to make, I would.
Well, I was thinking, people are throwing people off the train behind me, and I don't really want them to catch up to me, so I'm gonna bolt the door to this as well.
roll me another mobility. Just normal, no bonus. That's a success. You managed to bolt the door closed.
Cool.
Alright. It is...
Meanwhile, I'm still like, Can everybody from Colorado come back to the tractor? As people are being murdered and getting locked down right there.
It's Orland's turn.
Yeah,
Hey.
Orland lights up
What you gonna do?
another cigarette off the old cigarette, and he remembers that the doctor ran forward, so he's going to try to head forward where the doctor is.
What an interesting concept. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah. Not as easy as it looks, I take it.
Well, who knows? You guys are in different cars. So you're gonna just run. You're gonna book it the whole way.
I'm trying to get up there to get those birth control pills.
Well, you run. The idea of birth control pills really appealing to you right now. You managed to get out of this doors, pushing aside a couple of your hapless crewmates, and they kind of fall on the floor and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey, didn't you see the things that are out? Why are you running between cars? There's things out there." And you can see them. You can see them on the car. They are quickly approaching. You know deep in your heart that they are here not for anybody else in the ship. No, they're attacking this train because of you. They want you.
Is that an extra stress?
I think it is. Don't you agree?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Every single one of them is just saying,
They're
"Lost night."
crawling on the fucking train. They're here for you. You're
I've
the
never been
reason
one
for
so
the
bad in all my life.
baby. Yeah, no, if you weren't so scared, you might even feel flattered.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, nobody else really kind of realizes this, and it's their turn.
Hey, the thought does go through my mind while I'm running. Like, well, I wonder if it'd be pleasurable.
Yes, getting devoured. Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know what their portion of this mating process is. I mean, it could be great for all I know. But I'm still running.
Yeah.
I'm just running to try to get us a vehicle unit. And everybody else is like, I wonder if Vor would be fun.
Yeah, so they just keep coming. The one that was on the tractor manages to get onto the ship. There's one right up next to you now, my good piloting friend, on the top of the ship. They are crawling all over this place. The train is still not moving fast enough to stop them. They're quickly gaining ground. Oof. They're gaining so much ground. The train is still sputtering and stilting in the silt. It is trying to gain traction, but it is so sunken, and it's moving, right? But it's not moving fast enough to float on top of the silt sea. So yeah, they're just gaining on you. They're gaining, and they're getting there. They're getting close. That is the end of their turn. Okay. Orlin is AFK, but that's fine. Orlin's turn does not come up for another few minutes. It is the good doctor's turn. Good doctor, you see these creatures crawling across the surface of your train. They're crawling on the roofs. They're crawling along the sides of the train. They're even jumping onto it now. Do you think you know why?
Well, while I don't feel like I'm directly what they're looking for, this is probably stressing me out, so would I take another stress from that?
Probably. And also those petri dishes that you have. Those might smell the same way.
That's true. Alright, let me apply a quick stress to my character. Alright, so I will take the supplies I have, and since it will probably occur to me that those petri dishes are bad juju, I'm going to turn to the other doctor and I'll tell her that, look, it's real important. You got to dispose of these while I go take care of a medical emergency. You know, I'll just kind of like slam a bottle of hydrochloric acid or something like on the counter. Pour this all over these samples immediately, and without waiting to find out if she does a damn thing, I'll just turn around and walk straight out.
She's a little crossfaded at the moment, considering death is imminent.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if I knew death was imminent and I had some pot and fucking booze, I'd be crossfaded too.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, no,
Fuck it.
God, great way to die. Anyway, though, you run forth. The door pops open. You see your friend here on the other side. He looks a bit shaken, and he is really happy to see you. I think real fucking happy to see you. Roll me a mobility check.
Sure.
Let's see if you make it to him without incident. Carrying these so important syringes. Woo! Roll me that panic roll. I wonder what would happen if you rolled the drop something.
That would be awesome.
That would suck, bro. Come on.
I wonder what would happen.
I just gotta find the panic button. Where is it? That's just a
The
D6.
suspense
Right?
is killing me, and I'm the GM. Woo! You keep it cool. You keep it. Woo! 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 Excellent.
So I'm gonna.
Actually, he didn't roll that right. He rolled a D6, so he actually has 2 stress, so it's 6 plus 2, so it's 8.
Yeah,
He should have hit. He should have hit the panic button at the top instead of rolling the 1d6.
I don't. Oh, I see it. Okay, I didn't see it on the list. Sorry.
Excellent.
So he rolled a 6. He has 2
I've made-
stress, so it's actually an 8.
So -2 agility. I've got the shake. So
I
I'm
think,
trembling and getting all freaked out.
I think we did determine that. Yep, you're trembling. You can't
So-
move quite as fast as he wants.
As I'm coming towards him, I'll have this like look of like relief and then surprise. I'm like, "Where's the other lady? The doctor? What
Tanner.
was her name?
Dr. Tanner.
Tanner. Where's Dr. Tanner?"
I ain't got no idea.
Interesting.
So he's lying to me. Can I roll? Can I roll my manipulation versus his manipulation to see if I
think
believe
you
that he's?
can, yes. Let's get a contested manipulate roll up in here.
Oh,
Woo! Alright, but I want to see. Oh my!
oh we tied.
Death but panic.
Oh man!
And everybody is
Oh,
panicking
man!
from lying to each other.
Oh goodness! All right, here's exactly what happens. All right, you ask, "Where's Dr. Tanner?" He says, "Well, I don't know." You know he's lying. You know he knows you're lying.
So I'm gonna get a real cold expression on my face. Like I am now convinced that he has done something, and probably something that he doesn't want me to know, that he would know that I wouldn't approve of. So I'll say, I feel like I'm Snow White in a house full of sick dwarves.
No one will know what that means.
Orlin, what is your response? What are these sick dwarves doing?
I don't have any idea. They're fucking Snow White for all I know. Give me the
Look.
injection.
Look, I'm giving your hijinks the heave-ho post-haste, and I'll jam him with the syringe, inject it, but then I'm just going to stand back and kind of like giving him the look that at this point I am so disappointed in you. You don't even.
Ooh,
You don't
that
I'm
look.
done with you.
That look. Ooh, that look. I know what you're talking about. I can hardly articulate it. But, Orlin, I'm going to need you to make me a stamina save.
All right.
You should also make a feel bad for doing bad things save.
Yeah, I think they already failed that one. That was
Not
the
till
end
the
of the
cigarettes
check.
run out.
That has already been dealt with.
That one already happened, and they don't feel that bad. Probably. I don't want to attribute anything, but that is a successful stamina save, so you only take 1 damage.
All right.
The venom, anti-venom, which is essentially a diluted form of the same thing, is coursing through your veins. You feel it killing you softly on the inside, but you think it's killing something else a little bit more. And you're pretty certain that within the next 2 rounds, you probably won't have anything to worry about. But a lot can happen in that time.
I feel like we're injecting bleach, Doc.
Yeah, no, you basically feel like you got.
That'll kill the virus, won't it?
Someone get this man some intense light. Come on.
Can we ram a big ass lot up my asshole too, Doctor, while we're at it?
Have you tried inhaling Lysol? It might work. I don't know.
I had this great drug called hydroxychloroquine. And,
Swallow that black light.
Oh, goodness.
That's what I'll be
Come on,
smoking
come
in my cigarettes.
Ooh. All right, we dealing with some intense topics tonight, but it is whose turn is it? Oh, hey, look, it's the pilot's turn. What you gonna do?
oh, is it? Am I actually in engage range with that
You
thing?
are in engaged range. The creature is not coming for you. It's crawling past you.
Okay, so it's like if I step away, it's not gonna do anything. That kind of
Probably
sense
not,
I get.
no. Yeah, you can probably run past it.
Okay, well then fuck that thing. I'm
Yeah.
not worried
Yeah,
about
no,
that thing.
It's coming for one person. That person is Orlin.
That person is not me. I'm golden. All right, let's keep going. It's like fuck this shit.
You wouldn't want to be right in front of it though. If you were just one square over, oof, that might be bad news.
I'm just. If it's not focused on me, I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna run past and ignore it.
So you're coming up at a point where you can get onto the ladder and you can. This one's in your way. It's probably gonna attack you if you move past it. Alternatively, you could try to jump onto the tractor from the roof. Be a mobility check.
But this thing is like down the ladder, so I'm not like directly in engaged range.
You're not in engaged range yet, but if you go down the ladder, it might take a swipe at you. It looks like it's trying to climb up, and you're up.
Okay, well then that means it's basically, if it's in the middle of a climb, wouldn't that make it basically just...
It's not there yet.
Okay, so it's just coming for that spot.
Yeah, it's coming to you. It's coming at you.
Well, I've got a gun, and that says I don't want this thing in my way.
Alright, give me that attack.
Let's go. I'm pushing that. Like, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
That's a lot of skill.
My friend the pilot is pretty good with a quick draw.
Fuck that thing.
Woo! Okay.
Hey.
One of those
One to
rolls.
prone, everything else to damage. Fuck that thing.
All right, you knock it off and also kill it. It is dead. It falls.
Nice.
You shoot it and you hear, and then you don't hear anything anymore.
All right, now I'll climb down the ladder and go over to the tractor.
Okay. You are kind of right in between you're on the bridge that connects the tractor to the rest of the train. You feel that on your next turn, you could pop yourself into the cockpit and start driving it. There is one crawling on it, but you know that they're not looking for you, so you're not entirely sure whether you should be worried or not. Is that what
I'm just gonna keep an eye out and have my gun at the ready. That's my thing.
Okay. It's Vic's turn. Vicky, what you doing?
So I'm gonna move to the bottom door of the car, but I'm not gonna just barrel through it. I'm gonna like take a look out the door before I actually go out there.
Okay. So you see that your friend up north has shot one of the creatures successfully, and she is dead and also falling behind as the rest of the creatures keep pace with the train and begin to overtake it. There is one of the creatures crawling on top of the tractor. It looks like it's about to leap for the ledge on which your friend is currently residing, the bridge between the tractor and the rest of the train. There are a number of them quickly approaching, far more than you can actually see on the board. They're picking up dust. The stampede is behind you. The tractor is also behind you, and you think the tractor could definitely overtake this train. You just gotta get there and get it running without dying.
So I still have enough movement to get to where he is?
Yes, but you would stop presumably before you actually get to it.
Alright, so I'm gonna go out on the ledge, like sort of to the right of where his token is.
Here?
And I'm gonna say, look, man, they're throwing people off the train behind us. I've been bolting doors the whole way. Keep these crazy mofos away from
Who is
us.
throwing people from the... Why are we throwing people from the...
I don't know, dude, but I think we should get on this platform, unhook it, and just let them go, and then we'll take off.
Alternative facts.
Yeah, you could break for it.
Fake news.
Can I? I don't have a command.
Manipulate. Contest and manipulate, but I don't know. Maybe Eric might be.
Or maybe he'll agree. Like,
I don't even know if you need to make him manipulate. Frankly.
Yeah, Bent is already kind of like in the mindset of get the tractor, get the fuck out of there.
I think
he's like, all right.
On the same page here.
Yeah, it's just like, fine, fuck it, we get in the tractor. Like,
you get in, I'll start unhooking the thing.
Beautiful.
that's a plan.
That unhooking it takes the rest of your turn, but you feel like you've pretty much all but done it entirely, and by the time your turn comes up next, you will be free to hop on that motherfucker. Orlin, you back? It's your turn, and there's some tense shit going on. You're having a bit of a confrontation.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to make you go traitor or anything, but let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, well, I mean, my idea right now is I guess I feel like I'm safe, right? I just got the injection.
Yeah.
I mean, Doc, you could have some better bedside manners. Didn't have to burn that much.
Yeah, no, you feel like there's fire in your veins. It's hurting you.
Yeah. What'd you put in there?
It's going to take care of the problem, but there's a bigger problem at hand. Where's that other doctor? She needs this injection too, or otherwise we're all in trouble.
Yeah. She don't need that injection, Doc.
Where is she, damn it?
All right, I'm gonna tell you something. She can't tell nobody else.
That's how we got in this mess to begin with.
I know. It's all my fault. Hang on, let me light another cigarette. I threw her ass off.
I smacked the cigarette right out of his hand. Just.
Yeah, no.
You did what?
Without even losing a beat, I just put another cigarette out and put it in my mouth. I had to do it. They were coming after me. It was me or her.
So, I basically, yeah, I mean, it's not my turn, but basically, I just kind of like, I stagger backward, like this shocks the doctor.
No kidding. I would say go up a stress, frankly. But,
that sounds about right.
But also, yeah. This might be one of those player versus player moments. Interesting. But it is, my friend, Orlin, did you have anything else you wanted to do on your turn as the doctor staggers backwards, hearing the, truly the revelations that you have bestowed upon him?
Nope. Doc just needs to get over it. I feel like I'm safe now. I've got the injection. Even though I'm probably not, but I feel like I am.
Well, you know, it might take a little bit to take effect. Maybe, like, as I said earlier, 2 rounds, maybe 1 now. Who knows? But, yeah, you might be safe. You might be. If you live that long.
I trust the doctor, so I'm going to be convinced that I'm safe now. He gave me the injection. I'm trying to play it both ways.
One of these motherfuckers comes around, and she's hungry.
Oh shit!
She's hungry.
I'm screwed, doctor.
Bro, what you got? 1d6. Ooh, that is a good roll.
I am lucky. I am so lucky.
Oh, you are so lucky, my friend. Let's see what 1 does for you. That is a... that is a... Humans in medium range take 1 stress. That is both of you,
Oh, good.
actually. That's about it, though. It gets up here, it clambers up on the side of the train, and it... breeze at you, and you are intimidated as fuck. You feel like your time is nigh, and you know there's more quickly approaching. Oh, the doom, it is impending. Look at that. They're all climbing up now. All of them on top and aside the train. The ones that are aside the train aren't moving quite as fast because they're keeping pace with the train. But, yeah, no, there's a whole bunch of them coming at you. Orlin. You're worried that Doc didn't do quite enough.
Doctor, they're all turned on. What do I do?
Yes, indeed. And the one that was on the tractor, well, hey, it doesn't quite make the jump, and it looks like you guys might be in her way.
That's fair.
Good times.
Wow. She rears
Very
her
lucky.
head, and with her gaping maw, she produces a shriek that shivers your bones. She rears her claws up, and you feel as though your time is nigh. However, that is the end of her turn, and you all gain 1 stress.
Whew.
I can deal with that.
And it is the doctor's turn. Doctor. You've encountered quite the ethical dilemma. What and you've moved back 1. What are you going to do?
I have sworn to never take a life, and I mean it. But I ain't covering for you no more. And I'm gonna reach out to grab his wrist like an angry, disappointed grandfather dragging his petulant child behind him, or his petulant grandchild behind him. I'm gonna try to drag him into the next room. The next, to the north. Because there's a monster right there, and I don't want to get bit.
Of course. I'm assuming this wouldn't be contested, so give me a mobility.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not contesting at all.
There. By the way, I've got a shitload of stress now.
Yeah.
And 0 successes.
Push it.
Yeah, I'm gonna push it.
Go on.
All right.
That's a
There we
Damn.
go.
All right,
lucky.
you drag your friend, your former
Look at that
friend,
stress.
within the walls of the med bay. Your
slam
doctor
lock
friend,
the door.
you see her currently pouring hydrochloric acid on some of the samples. She hasn't quite gotten through all of them yet. She's like kind of taking her time. It looks like she's a little under the weather, or maybe like super high. She's
Super high.
She's working on it though. She's definitely not giving up yet. And that door is now locked. You are within safety of these walls. Totally safe, right? Completely safe. Definitely they can't break through walls with their brewing claws.
So I basically level a gaze at him, and I'm like, you realize that when we get back, everything's coming out. Everything. And I don't care if I lose a month's pay over it or not. You done wrong. You done wrong, son. You done wrong.
I get it, but losing a month's pay is a lot better than losing my life.
You're gonna lose a hell of a lot more than a month's pay.
Yeah, but a hell of a lot less than my life.
You disgust me.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
You're a man of science. You should do better. You should know better.
Hey, if you want, you can go get Scuzzy Sting you and run on out there and do all you want.
You just shut your mouth, and I'll take another stress because I'm an old man.
Highly valid.
You guys are going to explode.
I'm probably gonna have a heart attack at some point.
Oh
I'm
no!
looking forward to that.
Yo, your character having a heart attack would honestly be like the pinnacle of this episode. Like, oh my
That
god.
would be amazing.
Well, my stress level right now is like a 6, and I know that if you roll high enough, it can happen. So if you want to
Shit. I don't know.
manipulate the dice a little in my favor, I want him to feel bad forever.
Yeah,
Killing an old man.
give me. All right, so go up that stress, right? Now,
Huh?
give me a manipulate roll.
Me or him?
You. Yeah.
Me. Okay.
Gone up
One
that stress.
Manipulate.
I want to see what happens if you roll a
Yeah, there you
shit.
go. But I make him feel like shit.
Oh yeah. I'm not even gonna let him contest that. He's starting to grow a conscience. Damn. But roll me that panic, just in case.
Panic. Yes, that's good. Higher's better. I don't know. I've never had. 9 is drop item, so my cigarette probably falls out my mouth or something.
I'm gonna say yes, your cigarette.
And my stress level increases by 1.
Yes. You also dropped what you didn't realize you were holding on your person this whole time. One final petri dish, which you grabbed kind of without realizing it, but it also has Scuzzy's formula. And it's in the grates now, right beneath your feet.
Sweet poetic justice.
And yeah, so that was your turn. It is the pilot's turn. Pilot.
All right.
Pilot, my good friend. What are you going to
So is
do?
it-
One of these
so is this
motherfuckers
thing-
is right in front of you.
So it's engaged right now, right?
Now it's kind of trying to push you guys off so it can't pass you yet.
Well, I'm just trying to say, like, for combat purposes, is it considered
It
engaged?
is now currently engaged.
Okay, I'm going to try to step back from it for a moment, or just step
I believe that would
out
require
of its
an
engaged range, which I know is a mobility roll.
Give me that sweet mobility, my friend. That is a success. Yes, you managed
Right.
to extract yourself from the situation. What would you like to do?
And now I'm shooting it.
Oh yes, please. Beautiful.
Nice.
That is a
Yeah.
single success. So they're you notice that they don't have
I'm-
a great deal of
I'm actually going to push that one,
yes.
unless that's going to kill it.
No. It did not kill it. Push it.
So let's try this.
Watch it be. Oh, there we go. You're out of ammo, but you do manage to completely kill it.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm like, thanks,
and then
man.
I make that panic roll, right?
No. You just out of ammo completely.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna be out of ammo now.
Yeah, your gun's worthless.
Do I have any extra, or is that just like me completely out?
Did you pack extra?
There's. I assume I would have at least one extra clip.
Okay, that's not unreasonable to me. Yeah, you'd probably
Yeah,
have to clip. But it's probably going to take you a while to reload, and that card
Right,
is right
but-
there.
Yeah, that card's right there. That's where I'm going.
Okay, I'm gonna say, give me quick mobility +2. You know the way around it. Just to see if you can pop yourself into the cockpit.
Oh.
Friend, now it's time for that mobility.
See, now I'm
Now
pushing
it's time
that.
for that.
Wait, no, I
you
can't push it
you
because of
can't,
panic.
yeah. It is time for that panic. You keep it cool, but the ignition's not going. It is.
I can work with that next turn.
Right? It is now Vic's turn. Vic, the creature that was once there died before you, and the engine is sputtering beneath you in the tractor. Would you like to make me a mobility to hop into the tractor and try to get it jump started yourself?
Sure. So have I unhooked the carriage?
Yes, you have successfully unhooked it by this time, but the tractor will fall behind if you don't get it started, and it will be easily overtaken by the dust storm of these creatures behind you. So,
Okay. Mobility roll coming up.
my friend, make me that panic.
Back of the bus is fail sauce.
That is 7, so...
Nervous twitch.
Nervous twitch. Everybody goes up by a stress, right?
Yep.
Yeah, both of you go up a stress. You're both in the pilot or in the cockpit and detached. You are going to not continue progressing. The tractor is not hitched to the train anymore. You're so close to that dust storm, and it is so close to you, and it's getting closer. And you are falling into it. Everybody go stress back there as we return to whose turn is it anyway? My goodness, it is Orland's turn. Orland, what are you
I'm up to 5 stress back here. I'm really looking at that liquor.
What's Orland doing? I don't know. So he feels pretty safe. He's gonna move back over here by these drums. And he'll be like, "Look, Doc, it's the nicotine talking at this point. Okay, I had to do what I had to do. Don't be angry.
It doesn't make you make stupid ass dumb decisions like that."
I think someone in chat just redeemed "It's dangerous to go alone."
Oh, for whom?
I don't know.
Chatters. Let us see. That's how the game. Wait, every time. Okay. Alhim got a dangerous to go alone. Who is that directed at? Alhim.
What's that mean?
Is one of our players tonight Alhim?
That's me.
Yes.
I didn't know what I was doing. I just clicked the button, honestly.
That is okay. Normally, we don't let active players redeem dangerous to goes alone because it affects the gameplay. Basically,
I apologize.
No, that's fine. I will say that you didn't know that, and I'm gonna say it didn't really do anything. But in the future, if you're watching our games, you can redeem dangerous to go alone points to provide a benefit to one of the players. That's what dangerous to go alone does.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
You redeem it and you say somebody's name, and that person gets something special that helps them in whatever's going on their end of things.
My bad.
No problem.
Okay.
Just, it's good to get that information out there.
I've never done much twitching before, whatever this is, so I thought it was redeeming like the little pack. You redeem package for like 50 points.
Yeah.
I thought it was that. I apologize. Sorry.
Fine. Don't worry. Don't even apologize. Jeez. It is still Orland's turn. Orland, do you want to make a manipulate check here to see if you can kind of skate your way through this?
Actually, Lurd Nadim says she paid for me. I don't know if she paid points or not.
Ooh.
Just so you know. I don't know what that means.
Oh, Lurb. Okay, wow. All right, Alhim, you got a dangerous to go alone, my friend. And you inform me as to your character's name again.
Orland.
Yeah, okay, you're Orland, yes. Orland. All right, you are. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with attributing voices to characters. I've really bad cognitive stuff. Anyway, Orland.
Yeah, it's me, Orland.
Yeah. So you.
I like to smoke a lot of cigarettes.
You pass your way by these barrels, and you find something that you weren't sure was there before, but you definitely know is there now. You have found something that you might use to protect yourself. You found a very sharp object. It's a syringe filled with.
Oh, what the hell is this?
Filled with another toxin, one that you are aware of because you were the field agent who gathered it in the first place from a highly venomous and quite deadly creature. You know that injecting this syringe into somebody would kill them instantly.
Oh shit, there's 2 people in this room. Am I supposed to murder the doctor?
I'm not telling you what to do with it at all. I'm saying that it's now in your hand. You can do what you would like with it.
Oh my god.
It was one of the syringes that the good doctor was testing earlier, and of course, it killed the substance, but it also killed everything else, and it was, generally speaking, not going to be a viable candidate for this test, but...
Okay, so help me understand how this goes with the Twitch thing, because I've never done it before. So this Lurd Nardim gave me that, right? So they want me to have this. I found this stuff. And now I've got this. Is that correct?
Yeah, no. Basically, our viewers can affect the gameplay to an extent by providing dangerous to go loans. They redeem their WIST points, and once they provide dangerous to go loan, something appears in the game that would benefit the person they specified.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know all that. Okay, so what am I supposed to do with this stuff?
You can
Oh,
do whatever you want with
I don't
it.
know. I just threatened your career and your livelihood with the cold hard truth. You might
Yeah.
want to murder the doctor.
You might be in
I
some
am-
serious trouble.
I am kind of an asshole, so yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna do it.
It's gonna
I'm
be a
injecting the
close-
doc.
Close combat attack.
Yep, I gotta do it. Sorry, Josh.
Oh my
The doctor
goodness.
has 1 point in close
Oh, this is-
combat because he
this
used
is-
a bomb.
Of course.
Doctor,
is great.
roll me that
This is
counter
absolutely
attack.
amazing.
So if he's
This is
coming
going
at me and
traitor.
I see this
Definitely going
happening,
traitor. This is going traitor.
oh my god. Son,
Yeah.
I'm about to open up a can of whoop ass on you.
Roll me a counter
stop a
close
pothole in
combat. Ow! 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 Oh, beautiful.
I don't necessarily fail though. Depends on my panic. Let me check. It's gonna be
Give me
bad.
that panic. Give me that panic. 8.
Just shakes.
Yep.
-2 to agility.
Okay, you have a -2 to agility, but you have wrested this venomous syringe from the hands of Orlin, and it is now on the floor beneath your feet, right next to the stuff produced by Scuzzy in the first place that is definitely attracting these creatures to you. Oh, 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 oh! And it is, let me check the turn order. Oh, well, hello.
It's my turn.
This creature's
Oh shit.
turn.
Orland's in trouble.
Oh, everybody's
So-
in trouble.
I swore an oath, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm
the creatures.
basically
It's the
I'm
creatures'
completely red faced, and all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stalk over to the medicine cabinet there, grab that bottle of hydrochloric acid, spin around, and just splash it all over the ground.
turn. Mhm.
And
Well,
I'm
give me 1 sec, because it is actually the
Sure.
creature's turn first.
oh, okay.
Most of them are just gonna spend their turn getting closer. The ones that are behind the tractor, they kind of move around you now that you're no longer in their presence, but you know that the stampede, the true stampede is coming, and it will get to you in the next round if you do not fucking turn the engine on. Meanwhile, you hear some banging at the walls, at the windows, at every single piece of surface in this building. They are making wrong stat. They're making some attacks. Submit. Yeah. So this wall is basically tissue paper, and they're coming in. They're gonna take.
Oh, boy.
That's gonna be the end of
That's
their
a lot of
turn.
skirtles.
It is the good doctor's turn. Doctor, your friend just attempted to syringe you with what you know to be a venom, a very dangerous venom, and the scuzzy fluid is beneath you. The venom vial is also beneath you. The hydrochloric acid is like right over here. This doctor's high as fuck, and she's freaking out. And you are in a pretty interesting situation. What are you going to do?
All right, so beat red faced. I'm basically just going to walk right past him, take that hydrochloric acid, spin around, splash it on the ground where the other sample had fallen, and then drop the bottle. And I'll look at Orla and say, I don't gotta help you, but I do have to save you,
Oh.
or something to that effect.
Yeah. No, I love it. Something to the effect of, I can't kill you, but I don't have to save you. Am I right?
There you go. There's the Batman. I couldn't remember the line.
Amazing. Are you gonna go to the back of the train over here where the creatures aren't?
Yeah. If I still have the ability to maneuver,
Yeah, I'll give you that,
I'll reach
and I'll say
out.
the doctor helps you along.
Yeah.
You're in the back
And the
of the
whole-
train.
The whole while I'm holding my chest and my arms getting real numb.
What the hell? You left me down here by myself.
Yeah. Roll me a stamina real quick, my
Sure.
my good kind of a little bit elderly friend. Roll me that panic.
That is a lot of panic.
That is a
nine.
lot of
Okay,
panic.
what does a 9 do?
A 9 is dropping more items. So I'm probably
Now it's
I
a
probably
cigarette.
try to reach for my cigarettes and they just fall out of my hand and I'm just trembling and shaking.
Yeah, no, you lose your pack. And probably also the fucking lighter.
Yeah. That's the worst.
Indeed. They're beneath your feet now. They're in the grates. And it is the pilot's turn. Hey, buddy. How you doing down there all the way at the bottom of the ship?
I'm like, Greg, get this damn thing started, man.
You want to make me a piloting roll real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Now's the time to shine. Watch you get 0 successes and 1 panic.
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
I know what I'm doing.
Alright. Yeah, no, you steer this motherfucker like a bat out of hell! And that's basically what you are, because hell is right behind you, and you might as well be on the wings of a bat, because you are flying, my friend.
Since I have 2 extra successes on that one, I am going to take a +1 modification to a later skill roll relating to this one, so if I have to give any piloting next time. But I also want to show off, so...
Lovely. So, at this point, I'm going to move this token from the map layer, I believe I'm on the map layer, yes, to the token layer, and I'm going to change the size of the token to an average minifigure size, and I'm going to delete, well, no, I'm just going to leave you guys down there, right? But you're actually in this ship, and because of the way I've formatted the map, it's not going to be a complete accurate representation, but you are in the ship, both of you. And where would you like to move? You can move probably 1 car's length up, or
I'm moving ahead, and I'm just going to keep moving ahead because I want the last thing Mr. Malcolm to see is me like waving at him as I drive past. Like that's what I.
Wonderful. I'm going to actually say you move 2 cars. Yeah. Okay. That pans. All right. So you know that in your next turn you will be at the car that presumably holds our good doctor. You're like halfway past the F car, and you see the broken windows and stuff in F car, and you're like, bye.
Peace.
It is.
Put some music on.
Yeah, it is Vikram's turn, and Vikram, you might just be the co-pilot of this, but you feel like if you were to roll a successful heavy machinery roll, you could probably you could probably nitro these fuckers, the engines.
All right.
Oh yeah, let's get some knots going.
I'm gonna trick this damn thing out right now.
Let's see it happen.
Come on.
Oh, you succeed, but you kind of freak the fuck out. Give me that. That is a tremble, right? Or that's a.
So I suffer -2 to agility.
Yeah, agility.
But I'm trembling in excitement because I'm like, ooh yeah, this is running sweet now.
Yeah, no, like this is honestly, you look like, right? You came from this background as a race car driver, and this is some serious race car driving, right? This right here. Now this is pod racing.
Oh yeah.
And
I'm probably the best pilot you've ever been in the car.
Yeah, got a great
And since he's
pilot.
driving,
Use the midichlorian.
Great
No.
mechanic. This is a
Vic,
winning
that-
team.
yeah,
Vic,
boy.
this is what we do. We abandon these bastards. Because they're all gonna die.
And I'm
and
gonna
we go
moon
start
them
our-
as we go by.
Well, and then we go start our own racing team.
There we go.
There you go. All right.
That's
That's
awesome.
the play here. Orlin, my friend, you've been abandoned by the doctor. You're surrounded by the creatures that you know are hungry for what's inside of your blood, and you're pretty sure that it's gonna take effect soon, but that anti-venom hasn't stopped the smell yet. You feel that this is your last round before it stops smelling, but they're still coming at you.
Yeah. I'm just gonna run like hell.
Which direction? Which door? The doctor's up here to the north. Are you gonna try to push past the doctor, or are you gonna go down the side doors?
Nope, I'm going north. If I have to throw the doctor and the other high-ass nurse behind me, then that's what I have to do.
I think it's a mobility roll then. Contested.
All right, sounds fair. Let's do this.
Is it contested, doctor?
Yeah, I'm not gonna let him throw me around.
Then it's a contested mobility roll.
Hold on, let me find my sheet. There we go.
Oh shit, my panic's pretty bad.
Oh, what's that panic do? What that panic do though? oh, what that panic do though?
13.
Oh
What is it?
shit!
Wait, before we do with the 13, what is a 10?
Yeah, I don't even know.
10 is
10.
free.
Freeze. He freezes in fear.
You get to the door, and right as you're trying to move past the doctor, you freeze.
That triggers
But doctor,
me to have one additional stress, so I will have rolled a 14, which means berserk. I must immediately attack the nearest person or creature, friendly or not. I will
Clearly,
not
that's
stop.
the doctor and not Orlin.
I will not stop until the target is broken. Even a friendly character who witnesses, every friendly character must make an immediate panic roll. So the nurse has got to make a panic roll.
the nurse is making a panic roll. Let me see. I'm gonna use Turner's stats because she's definitely not a clone of Turner. Yeah, and she's definitely stressing. She gets that paranoid.
You're gonna make him
reaction
break
from
his
the-
oath.
She gets that paranoid reaction from the pot. You know.
This is so cinematic, though. It's great.
Yeah, no, this is amazing.
Stress
Like,
dice.
Yeah, she keeps her cool though, and you on the other hand, give me an attack against Orlin.
Okie dokie. Hold on, do I get any more stress out of that too? Let me look real quick. No, I just go freaking nuts.
Amazing.
Unfortunately, the berserk lasts until he's broken.
Yeah. Let's see how that never take a life thing pans out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not going to go well. I got a feeling for.
Oh my god.
Monster!
oh, you were just about to gut him.
Oh man,
So-
what are you even attacking with?
Basically, instead of like just necessarily doing damage, can I use that to like just throw him back down the hall towards the monsters?
Yes. Oh,
That's what fucking
yes.
happens.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, You're such a disappointment to me, and I'll just throw him as with all of my 60-year-old old man strength.
Oh, with the last of your failing strength, you push this man back from whence he came. Oh, and the maws of these monsters, they are fast approaching. Oh, my friend.
By successes, you launch him like you're Brock Lesnar. Right? You
No
grab him.
shit, man. No
Doctor
shit.
Smash!
And
I might
Dr.
turn a little
Smash.
green in the process, like, Hulk out.
Oh, yeah, you
those are
do.
some actual, that is fucking incredible.
That is a whole Loki scene, you know?
That is, yeah, no. Puny God! Puny God! You push.
But we
you
were
push
buddies,
Orlin
not rivals.
back. No! I know,
Yeah, that's
right?
changed. I think that's changed.
I think that changed over the course of this because, my friend, you've been pushed back. You've been pushed back.
You finally broke him.
Not
You
one.
finally broke this kind old man who just wanted to help people. You broke him.
I freaking broke the doctor. It's awesome.
Even 3. But my friend, Broken Doctor has pushed you back to 4, if not 5 of these creatures, and it's their turn.
Oh shit, they're up.
Bye, Felicia.
Wow.
I'm gonna make 3 d6 rolls. Yeah. And oh, would you look at that?
Oh.
Let's see if you live that long.
Oh no. I know what 6 means.
Yeah. Let's roll that 4 though. We haven't gotten a chance at one of those, right? And then that 2 again. Oh goodness. And then the 6. I'm having too much fun.
Wait, let me roll armor. Oh wait, armor's 0.
Let me
So
roll my.
Orlin is gone.
about that.
Oh, that's 4 successes on a headshot.
You know what? I'm gonna let you choose. which
Okay.
one of these attacks finishes you?
How do you want to do this?
Oh,
Yes, you're gonna how you want to
How
do
would
this
you
yourself.
like to die?
okay. You said they're drawn to where the head looks like what it looks like, right? Like the head is what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want that
Then the
head
head chomp gets me. Absolutely.
Damn straight.
Death
You're
by
eviscerated.
Force
You're
successes.
chomped at. You're sliced at. Everybody's coming at you, but you know what? That final motherfucker, that big gaping maw, it emerges and it opens wide, and your face looks up in abject terror, and oh God, you scream, but that sound is cut short as the maw engulfs your entire upper torso, not the least of which to say your head, and then it swallows you.
That is awesome.
Orlin, my friend, you are quite dead. And
Oh, I am.
I think with that, the creatures satiate themselves on what is remaining of your body before they stop coming at the train. But before that, before the caravan is completely home free, I think we should resolve what happens with the rogue pilot and their ship. My friend, these creatures, they look like they're slowing in their attempts to attack you, but do you guys really want to stick around on this shithole train?
Fuck that.
You do have a tractor and a team. You might want to decide to be racers. So, do you go back to the train, or do you speed by?
I am
and
gonna at
do
least-
you pick up the doctor on the way?
Well, Vic, did you tell me if that it was the other guy that it was Orlin that threw the guy from the train, and not the doctor? I do have the name to it.
It wasn't the old man, it was the other guy.
Okay, so I'm still in there, like, doctor. It's like we're coming up on your left.
Doctor, do you depart maybe with the Tanner analog?
Yeah, I will grab the nurse and, kind of stagger my way over to meet them wherever they want to pick us up. And just a broken, shambling old man, just
Yeah,
sad
yeah.
and trembling.
He looks horrible. I've taken my nap relief by now, and I'm like, no. Good.
Yeah, no, you look like shit, but you're alive, and
I am definitely taking that nap relief,
At the
actually,
end
now
of
that
the
I
day.
remember that I had that.
that's kind of what
Need to
We still
steady
gotta
weight.
go flip off Malcolm on the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
So as we're driving by, can we just flip them off?
Fuck
and-
Malcolm.
If only we had, like, another Petri dish that had the
If only.
the stuff in it, and just, like, chuck it at him. Be like, here! We're set for today, bitch.
And the three of us go to form Skovic Racing with our
Yeah.
resident
It's
medic.
like, we could definitely use doctor,
Yeah,
It's a
no,
much
I-
less stressful job,
Probably.
I got 1 month to retirement. I think I'm taking it early. Screw it.
Amazing.
When he gets in,
Amazing.
as terrible as he looks, I will hand him my flask and be like, take a drink, it'll help.
And on that note, I think we close for the night. But there is a feedback phase. I would like to ask you a few questions before we depart. What was your
Yeah.
favorite part, your least favorite part, and what do you want to see more of from these Alien RPG one-shots? But before we get to that point, I really, really, really fucking need to pee. I'll be back.
Okay.
In the meantime, my
What
friend,
your
here.
least favorite part was? Hey! What's up, friends? I should probably put you guys up on the screen. Hey, gang.
Howdy.
Hey,
Hey.
What's going on? So, indeed, does anybody have like a particular need to go soon, just so I can like get you guys have you go first and tag us back?
I gotta get to bed. I'm old and tired, just like my character.
I feel you, dude. I feel you. I'll let her know. You're on deck.
And you know me,
But,
I don't sleep. So.
I would say that my favorite part, honestly, was throwing Orland to the monsters. My least favorite part was throwing Orland to the monsters.
Nice.
Complicated feelings about it.
Complicated feelings. My character had complicated feelings.
Nice.
Have the turn.
Indeed. Pat's about to take it back from me, but yeah, Josh was giving us feedback first.
Thank you. All right, sorry, Josh. Continue.
Oh no, that's fine. I was just saying my favorite part and my least favorite part are the same thing, and that was tossing my good friend and fellow player into the monsters. And I'm totally not going to use that against him later. It's not going to. I'm not going to.
Yeah, my character in the campaign is screwed now.
Oh, that was such a beautiful cinematic moment. My heart. So
The dice did just roll perfectly for that. I gotta say, that was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was such a good scene.
Yes.
But I had a lot of fun. Thank you for inviting me along. And if you're going to run other stuff, I'll shoot you a message, and we'll see if we can meet up again.
Everybody here is more than welcome to return. Gosh, this was a great episode. I'm very happy to have had all of you. Thank you so much. You
My
guys,
pleasure.
your RP, honestly, it made the show for me. I couldn't have come up with that as the GM. The character interactions were just.
Yeah, you couldn't force that. That was just character.
That was just you guys being amazing. So thank you. You're welcome back.
Thank you.
Was that your feedback?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm going to head out, get to bed. Thank you again. Everybody have a good evening.
Good night, Matt.
Night, Josh.
Good night.
Thanks
See
for
you
killing
later.
my character,
Yeah,
asshole.
Don't worry. I'll do it again next Wednesday.
Oh, great.
Time to make a backup character.
Oh, amazing. All right, does anybody else have to leave soon?
No, I don't.
Okay. Who wants to go next then?
Should we go in initiative order?
All right, sure. Let's see who's up next in the turn tracker. I believe Eric is currently up, so let's go with Eric. Feedback phase.
All right.
You know the drill.
I really like the whole setup for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the long moving train. I like it felt almost like when movies have that, timer running out kind of thing. It felt a lot like that. And I really like that. There was a lot of intensity to that. And just basically how everything drove to divvied up was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have any complaints on this one. I was very much entertained the whole time. It's like when I wasn't doing something, it's like all the other players were doing really interesting, fun things. And it was like, okay.
Yeah.
What I would like to see more of is I would actually like to see more of this chase kind of concept, because I actually would like to play with the, vehicles.
Ooh,
It's like,
yeah.
give us a monster that we need a vehicle to fight. Make this some Mad Max Fury Road bullshit.
Don't you fucking tempt me.
Do it. If this was like a Fury Road, could you imagine this kind of stress thing as like someone is screaming "Witness me" and jumping towards something with the explosive spear? Holy shit!
Oh man, that is really fucking cool visual. Definitely
it's
not gonna steal that.
Yeah, it's like let's put the stress in vehicles in. No, I don't think anything can go wrong from rolling a berserk thing while you're piloting a ship like that.
Definitely not.
I want to see a session go up and just flames everywhere as we laugh madly. It's like, yeah, like I said, no real complaints. There was a lot of very good role playing. It was a good setup for a lot of role playing. The monsters were fun. Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm good. I got to go start a racing team.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
Good
No,
time.
you've got a career ahead of you.
Skovic Racing.
Yeah. Fuck Mr. Malcolm. Fuck this company.
Fuck this company. Fuck Mr. Malcolm. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that Mr. Malcolm didn't get any real karmic retribution, except that the whole train got fucked over because of his negligence. So I guess
I was hoping if I'd had a chance, but
Look, you guys kind of fucked him over at the end with the whole, the actual science team leaving and the ship being overwhelmed by monsters that were definitely.
Oh yeah, he did
destroying
lose the
ship.
entire science team. We were
Yeah,
just like,
no, you
"Ace."
lost pretty much the entire fucking science team, and so much component damage to the ship. Dude, this is gonna be very expensive to fix. And when that stampede gets there, oh boy.
I just feel awful for him, I guess. You know?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, you know, that's that scuzzy liquid that fell into the grates. That's totally not all gone, right?
For the first race, my car is just gonna have "fuck Mr. Malcolm" on the side.
Fuck Mr. Malcolm. Yes. It's fucking. I'm glad that you enjoyed the character. Yeah. No. So thank you. Was that is that all your feedback?
Yeah, that's pretty solid. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming out, Eric, and you are always welcome to return.
I love these one shots. So.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of them as well. Obviously, that's why I run them. I love them. Okay, so who wants to go next, or shall I go by the turn track order?
I'll go.
Okay, you're up to bat.
So, first I want to say you created an awesome cinematic one-off. It was so fun. It was excellent. My favorite part was how you were able to build the tension in a fun way, like in a funny way, but also like a terrifyingly funny way.
Yes.
So that was really well done. Kudos to you as GM.
Thank you.
And just the only quip I had, and it's just a slight technical thing, was for some reason every time I tried to move my token, I kept grabbing the map. So I don't know what was going on with that.
Sometimes Roll20 is just weird.
Huh. That's not something you should be able to do. So yeah, I have no idea why that would happen. I mean, it's a little out of my control considering Roll20 is kind of wonky sometimes. But was there anything?
I blame the coding.
Yeah. Is there anything that I could have controlled that you think I could have done a better job of?
No, I mean, well,
No,
you know,
please.
you did. You just took the token, which worked fine for you. So that was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much for that. And in the future, from these one-shots, if you want to play or if you don't want to play, what would you like to see? What do you want to see more of?
It's really cool to see the human versus human stuff, but I don't know, like, if that's really built, like this game is built for that. Like, typically the rules say you got to switch to an NPC once someone starts, you know, going against the
After
party.
it's resolved, that's when they switch to an NPC if they survive.
Right. So I like the inter-human conflicts, I think. You know, obviously it's always great to see cool monsters and aliens, and I would never take that away. But I think playing against the human aspect is probably something that would be a great focus.
Absolutely, and if I may, I think that, you know, this system is our setting and system, I guess, is kind of uniquely appropriate for dealing with some of these player versus player conflicts, because it literally does have rules for this, as opposed to Dungeons & Dragons or a number of other systems where it's just like, yeah, PvP happens, that's not good, don't do that, stop it. You know, but the Alien RPG system actually kind of embraces that. They're like, yes, there are players in this game who are not 100% aligned on the same side with everybody else, and it does have rules for going traitor. If you incur a going traitor moment, then you can play out that scene, and it's up for the GM, of course, to arbitrate how it all plays out. But in general, when you go traitor, you basically decide, this is my time to shine. I'm going against the rest of the party, and after this, if I fucking survive, I will be the GM's play toy, and I will re-roll a new character. Totally understandable, and I think that's a really great way to handle player versus player combat. I'm a huge fan of how they handle it in the book. Honestly.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I think that's the way to go. And of course, in a one-shot, you don't even really have to deal with kind of the aftermath, and especially when it was Orlin who basically was the one attracting these creatures, who went traitor. It all culminated really well in this episode, and I'm very happy to have seen all of this play out the way it did. I couldn't have planned it if I tried. So yeah, no, I'm very, much in agreement with you, and I'm very happy about how things played out, and I'm kind of eager to see how Orland's feedback phase goes.
Am I up then?
I think you're up.
All right. Well, what I'll tell you is that if it had been the engineer or the other character, I might not have done it. But because I knew it was Josh, and I planned a campaign with Josh, I thought, well, I'm just going to totally role play this thing. You know, I'm a high strung guy. He wants to survive, so he's going to throw the other scientist off. And if it means going after the doctor, and I guess it was even someone watching the stream here that I didn't know how that stuff worked. I all of a sudden had this little box pop up, and I'm like, well, let me click this box. What does that do? I had no idea. So I figured if someone wanted me to do something crazy, I'll do something crazy. So I went after Josh. So just so you know, it may cost my campaign character next Wednesday, but whatever. It was totally worth it.
Amazing.
So for my feedback, I actually think that I most enjoyed the fact that you tied so much stuff together with the name of the adventure and Parvati,
Yeah.
and sort of Hinduism and all that kind of stuff.
The goddess of fertility.
Yeah, I thought it was all pretty cool. I like the storytelling aspect of it. I enjoy role playing. And in Alien, I think it's easy because when the shit really hits the fan, I think that as humans, we're probably going to be pretty selfish. And so that's what I did with Orlin. I hope I didn't aggravate anybody.
No, that was great.
No, I loved it. Holy shit, are you kidding me? That was phenomenal.
Well, you never know sometimes with the other players. Sometimes they, so I was like, well, I wouldn't go after anybody else probably because I don't know anyone else. But Josh is like, well, I'm doing it. So we're just doing this thing.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll just let you know, if you're ever in a game with me and you have that kind of thing going on, don't feel leery about starting me. I will absolutely go with this kind of stuff too.
Same.
Cool. Who's talking though? I don't know your voice very well. Sorry.
Eric, and you know what? Fuck you.
Okay.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, I will go completely off the rails, and I fucking love it in these games.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's just I just figure. I mean, okay. A little background on me, not that anyone cares, but I was always a sci-fi fan as a kid. I was born in '71. I begged my parents, please let me go see Alien. Please, it's just like Star Trek, Mom. I literally talked my parents into letting me go see Alien at the age of like 7.
Oh my.
So I still occasionally have recurring nightmares of running from a xenomorph.
So do I.
And I'm being serious about that. So I love Alien. It's like ingrained in me. I can't even play Alien Isolation as cool as the game is because I just can't do it. So I love this game like crazy. And I just figure in that universe, a character like Orlin kind of had him pictured. He's just going to be all for himself at some point. So
absolutely.
As far as my least favorite part of this, I honestly don't have anything. I had an absolute blast tonight. I guess my least favorite part was that I didn't know enough about Twitch, and I kind of screwed things up for a little bit. Apologize for that.
You honestly, probably your misstep there inspired, I'm assuming, Lerb, who is a long-term viewer of the show, and thank you so much, Lerb. Your contribution actually genuinely changed how things went and improved the gameplay, I feel. So thank you, Lerb. Honestly, shout out to our fucking viewers for seeing that and thinking, yeah, well, what if you actually got a Dangerous to Go alone? Like, no, don't apologize for not understanding how Twitch works. Like, I fucking hardly even know how it works. But I fucking run this show. Well, co-run.
Well, I thought it was awesome. I really appreciate you running it. I had an absolutely great time. What a wonderful one-shot for a Friday night. It was an absolute blast. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank everybody for coming out. I had a huge blast too. I wasn't sure how this game would. I'm wearing two fucking sunglasses.
Yeah, no, this is definitely one of the better sessions we've had, one-shots we've had on this.
I'm very pleased with how everything turned out. Thank you all for playing your characters so marvelously, magnificently. Thank you, all the viewers who came out for being such great folks. Lee, do you got the thing with the Twitch? Do you actually could do it from my thing? Hey everybody, we're about to do this thing called rating. Thank you everybody so much for coming out.
Phone or something with Twitch on because I need to see what's live right now.
Okay, wow.
Do you
alright.
have a Twitch app on your phone?
I do not have Twitch on my
Mine
phone.
is like dead charger.
Oh my goodness.
Powered except for
So,
Hold on, no, wait, we can guess. Hold on, is Party White Games live?
Is Party White Games live? Anybody seeing Party White Games? Raid. Parentheses.
No parentheses.
Okay, raid. Party Wipe. Lee, spell it.
Yeah, so like party.
What we do is we raid other viewers, people that we're friends with.
Yeah.
Just click it. Yeah.
Boom. All right.
Fantastic. All right.
We'll see you on the flip. Remember, we are a
Thank
very
you,
cool,
everybody.
friendly community when we visit other people's streams. Purpose is great. Consider following. And we punch in your right. See it. And once we've hit that and it's gone through, we also want to hit end stream so we can actually not be streaming.